build-up with Paul Dempsey and Viv Anderson.
They're on Cardiff today as football fans around the globe focus on the Millennium Stadium and this very special occasion, the FA Cup final. And we are surely in today for another gigantic struggle for supremacy. But even more than ever before, this one is about winning. So welcome everyone, wherever you may be watching, from me, Paul Dempsey. This is a day that retains its hold on fans far and near. Arsenal, 9 times FA Cup winners. Manchester United, a record 11 times winners of the FA Cup already. And here in Cardiff, this greatest of club cup competitions reaches its climax again here. And both bring with them today a thirst for victory that is unquenchable. Joining me, a man who's graced many great football occasions, Viv Anderson, the first Manchester United player signed by Alex Ferguson, as he then was. He played a huge part as United were reshaped, rebuilt and reborn, helping United to a first trophy of the Ferguson era. That, of course, was the FA Cup. Previously at Arsenal, surely the best in his position in the country, an England regular. Barring the FA Cup, he won every major honour in the game, with Nottingham Forest most famously 2 European Cups. It's great to have you alongside us today, Viv. Well, they come from everywhere, don't they, to Cardiff today. And for you, Viv, even in the modern game, what is it about this day and the FA Cup that draws us all here?
First, Paul, thanks for the intro. I don't know where you got those goals from, but very good to see.
You're a natural striker.
Thank you very much. Yeah, the FA Cup final is something special. I was very fortunate to play in the FA Cup final many years ago, and it's something that players look forward to, I must admit.
You've been out in Dubai recently where you have interest now, we know. The conditions here are somewhat different, aren't they?
Yes.
It was bright and breezy early today, but the rain has been falling in Cardiff. Yes,
it's overcast. Usually it's 90-odd degrees out there, and it's really difficult for the players. But today it's overcast, as I say, and it's nice and slick, the park, and we look forward to playing some nice football, I hope, today.
We were all hoping for blue skies, but after the beautiful conditions of early this morning, as fans were arriving from all points in support of both these huge clubs, of course, things have deteriorated somewhat, as you'll see shortly. And as we'll hear later from Viv, of course, he knows all about the joy of winning and also the pain of losing on days like this. After his successes with Manchester United, he was a losing captain more recently with Sheffield Wednesday in the FA Cup final. One day that everyone, whether a player, a fan, anyone with an interest in football, wants and dreams of being a part of. But of course, much though it means to the supporters, it is about the players. The Arsenal team bus and the Manchester United team bus making their way through the crowds here in Cardiff. United, the road they travelled a year ago en route to their victory in the final over Millwall. They stayed out of town, in fact, a few miles away down the road in the Vale of Glamorgan. Looking very businesslike, manager and players, as they pulled their way into the car park here a few minutes ago. Not many smiles around today, Viv.
Yeah, not many smiles at all. It's business. They want to win this cup badly, and you can tell by the faces of the players coming off the bus there. They're determined to get their hands on the cup this afternoon.
Coming looking for a trophy and nothing else today, Manchester United. Third in the Premiership for the 3rd time in 4 years. The great man still in charge despite every upheaval, and his captain know that that's simply unacceptable.
Yeah, you look at Roy Keane there going up the stairs, and Sir Alex Ferguson, the determination on their faces today. They're determined to get their hands on this cup.
Arsenal stayed in town, a shorter trip for them to the stadium today. They were just down the road at the St David's Hotel. Of course, they love being in Cardiff. 7 appearances here in recent years, and they've won 5 times. Does that help?
They've got some good players, I must admit. Does it help? Yes, it's a bit of skill on the day, a bit of magic on the day that usually invariably wins a game like this between these two players. So yeah, they've been there, seen it, done it. It's going to help them in some respects, I think.
So as they pull their way into the Millennium Stadium car park, another good sign for Arsenal today, perhaps. They were making their way into the North dressing room, which, as you're probably aware of, it was deemed the lucky dressing room.
Yes, it was.
From the time this Millennium Stadium opened.
Yes, but all these things go out the window. Once the kick-off starts, it's all about winning and whatever it takes to win, I must admit. But dressing rooms, I'm not superstitious.
I'm sure any of the fans who were outside and watching as the coaches made their way through will have been struck by the air of grim determination emanating from both camps. Great atmosphere in Cardiff as the week has built up yesterday and today. But in the eyes of their supporters, Viv, when we start this FA Cup final today, what do you feel is the standing of the two clubs right now? What is the expectation of the fans today?
But you look at the two clubs, they've been at the top for the last 10 years. Obviously Chelsea's come along now, but there's a mutual respect for both of them, and I think it comes with the managers as well. They might not get on, but there's a mutual respect between the two clubs and the two managers. Both sets of supporters are expected to get their hands on the cup today. It means so much to them today.
So even for the fans, it's not just about that great day out at the end of the season?
No, it's going back to wherever you come from and saying that we've got our hands on the cup this year for another year, and let it go on from there.
A brilliant atmosphere building. One or two players have made their way out onto this magnificent carpet at the Millennium Stadium. Among them, young Philip Saunders. It's all new to him, really, isn't it? And he waits to find out if he will be confirmed as a starter for Arsenal today. But the band is beginning to play, and we've got all the pomp and ceremony that we've come to love over the course of 124 FA Cup finals, stretching back 133 years. So, the conditions, you mentioned that the rain had begun to fall. How much of an issue do you feel that it will be? The roof has been open all day here in Cardiff.
I certainly think it will be an issue, because both sides like to pass the ball around well. It'll be nice and slick, it'll be nice passing movements. I think it's great for both teams, especially for the players. You don't want to play in a hot atmosphere if you can help it. Today's perfect for players to play and perform today.
They'd like this bit of rain, you feel?
Oh yes, most definitely, yes.
Well, what a setting we have here today. And for so many fans, this is where the season, almost as though they've come to expect that there would be this climax. Such has been the record of recent achievement, especially in the FA Cup for these Arsenal supporters. Almost a home away from home for the Gunners. Their fourth appearance on the big day in 5 years. But let's now look at how Arsenal made it back to the final this time with John Hell.
Early January and Arsenal's FA Cup campaign got off to a stuttering start. Stoke City, the third round visitors to Highbury, and it was the side from the Championship which took the game to the Gunners. Wayne Thomas silenced the home crowd as Arsenal's defence went missing. This would clearly be no stroll in the park for the league champions. It wouldn't be until after the break that Arsenal regained their equilibrium. Jose Reyes firing in after some good work from Kolo Touré. Dutchman Robin van Persie came up with the winner, coolly steering home Jermaine Pennant's pass. Arsenal through, but not convincingly. The fourth round was little more straightforward. Another home draw against another club from the Championship, Wolves, now under the guidance of former Spurs legend Glenn Hoddle. The Gunners could have been ahead early on as a result of Thierry Henry's enterprise. The Frenchman's cheeky effort, though, ruled out for high feet. In the second half, Arsenal stepped up a gear, winning a penalty. Jose Reyes felled by Swedish defender Joachim Björklund in the box. Vieira made no mistake from the spot. Wolves made things difficult, but their resistance was finally broken with 10 minutes to go. Freddie Ljungberg converting Thierry Henry's clever pass. Arsenal's fifth-round tie against Sheffield United would be a repeat of a feisty encounter between the two clubs in the 2003 Cup semi-finals. Once again, the meeting of the two clubs wouldn't be short of incident.
Something happened off the ball then, and now it's all kicking off. I think he's sent somebody off here. It's Dennis Bergkamp. Lamine, Kenny, Pires, it's there, and Arsenal lead. Seagon, very unconvincing. Bill for handball, it's given. It's there. It's 1-1.
10 days later, and a packed Bramall Lane greeted the Blades and an Arsenal team depleted by injury, in full expectation of an upset. United wasted a golden chance to take the lead in the opening minutes of the match. Michael Tong's effort somehow failing to find the back of the net. Arsenal came closest to breaking the deadlock in a frantic second half. Spanish teenage sensation Cesc Fabregas just inches away from settling it. 0-0 after extra time. It would be decided by the lottery of a penalty shootout.
Next up, John Harley. And Almunia saves that one. If Cole scores, Arsenal are through to meet Bolton Wanderers. It's been heavy going, but Arsenal are there.
The sixth round and Arsenal's first Premiership opposition. Bolton had won this fixture in the league just 2 months before. Arsenal had crashed out of the Champions League in midweek. Could they bounce back?
Here's Pires now. All slipped on intelligently to Freddie Ljungberg. And it's an early lead for Arsenal.
Arsene Wenger now came face to face with Blackburn's Mark Hughes, 4 times a winner as a player. This semi-final was to be a bruising encounter.
1-0 to the Arsenal, and it's Robin Pires. Another goal would do very nicely indeed. They are going to the FA Cup final. It's Robin van Persie. Here's Pires. It's Van Persie. Oh, simply stunning. He might have taken a whack in the face, but that was a punch right to the nose of Blackburn Rovers.
Reaching their third final in 4 years, Arsenal clearly have a liking for this competition. They've enjoyed their fair share of luck on the road to Cardiff this season. Maybe their name is once again written on the famous old trophy.
That's what they're here for today, Viv. But would you call this a vintage Arsenal Cup campaign so far?
At all. You look at the Sheffield United, got them to drew at home, then went to Bramall Lane and managed to win on penalties. It was a close encounter, and I think for me the result of their campaign so far is going to Bolton away. They managed to win there.
Yes, some of these Arsenal fans must have viewed that particular draw with some trepidation when they were paired away to the Sam Allardyce All-Stars in round 6, and it was a very difficult ground for them over the last few years, wasn't it?
I think they'd been beaten a couple of times there, and as I said in the VT there, they'd gone out to the Champions League the week before, and I think Bolton actually beat them a couple of weeks beforehand as well. So when they went there and scored early on, I was surprised, and they come away with a good victory. That they deserve that, and gone on to the final, as we see.
For Arsenal, has the FA Cup this season become more important the longer the campaign has developed?
Yeah, most definitely, because obviously at that stage when they beat Bolton, they were out of the Champions League, and the focus then was on, because the league was near enough done by then, the focus now was on the FA Cup. To win a trophy at a club like Arsenal Football Club is vitally important.
They're jumping the gun slightly with this banner, aren't they? But you know what they mean. You know, there's almost an expectation, given this recent run of successes, and much of it has come at Cardiff.
Yeah, I think Sir Alex Ferguson has something to say about that slogan there. But at the end of the day, it's a vitally important game for both sets of supporters and both teams and both managers.
How much does it help that they've been here in recent years and gone away with the FA Cup, Arsenal? Yeah,
it does help them, but Manchester United have been here and won it, so they've both been in a similar sort of position. They've been here in the semi-finals, they know what the atmosphere is like, they both played here. There's a lot at stake today, and the both sets of players and supporters know what to expect.
You make a good point, Viv. Much like Arsenal, Manchester United, of course, built in every era by FA Cup success, but this season it's also true that their early progress was hardly smooth.
Manchester United's defence of the FA Cup began at Old Trafford. Non-league Exeter surely no match for the might of the world's most famous football club at the Theatre of Dreams. But encouraged by their 9,000 followers, the Grecians silenced Old Trafford with a spirited and disciplined performance, and with Tim Howard's save from Andrew Taylor saving United from the embarrassment of going behind. United laid siege to Exeter's goal in the second half, but the visitors held on to record one of the biggest surprises in recent cup history. Sir Alex Ferguson described the first encounter with Exeter as his team's worst FA Cup display in his 18 years in charge. For the replay, United were back to full strength. No risks taken this time.
Here's Ronaldo! 9 minutes is all it's taken for Manchester United to break through. Sahar. And Rooney's got goal side. Round the goalkeeper. And Manchester United are through to the fourth round of the FA Cup.
United's next cup tie at home to Middlesbrough looked a much tougher proposition on paper. Alex Ferguson's former assistant, Steve McLaren, bringing his improving team back to the ground where they drew earlier in the season.
Ronaldo. It's in from O'Shea. And he's come up trucks very early on. That's a fine pass. All the keepers way off his line. Rooney saw it and scores. Oh, such improvisation. Rooney! Oh, magnificent!
Irresistible against Middlesbrough, Wayne Rooney faced a test of character in round 5 as United were drawn against Everton. They hadn't beaten United since the FA Cup final in 1995, and things were no different this time.
Wonderful play from Ronaldo. Great cross as well, and there's the opener from Quinton Fortune. It's Paul Scholes to hit it. Ball on the follow-up. Cristiano Ronaldo, 2-0.
Yet to concede a goal in the competition, United's chance of defending the FA Cup for the first time in their history was beginning to look a realistic prospect. Against Southampton at St Mary's, they again made the perfect start.
Roy Keane, they've got in front straight away. A shot that was clearly deflected. Rooney has looked so dangerous in his first half. With his strength, his power, his control. Busting his way through again. That needs to Roy. Ronaldo. Oh! That is a super goal. Rooney. Then Van Nistelrooy. Just couldn't quite poke it in, but Scholes surely will. And it's 3-0 to United. Scholes in the box. Quinton Fortune has arrived as well, but it's Scholes. The marking was pretty static, you'd have to say. The finishing deadly.
The semi-final at Cardiff had the look of a cup classic. Without a cup win since 1955, Newcastle were desperate to reach the final. But first they had to beat a United team which had never lost a semi under Ferguson.
Ronaldo has lit up this season at times. Van Nistelrooy! It's in! And Manchester United take the lead. Oh, it's number 2. Paul Scholes with such an accurate header there. Here's Rooney. And then Scholes, rolled on, Van Nistelrooy, it's 3. No doubt about the outcome there. But here's Amiobi with a chance for Newcastle, and he squeezed it in. Don't write us off yet, that's the message. Van Nistelrooy, Ronaldo.
Manchester United then reaching a record 16th cup final in style. United had met Arsenal just once before in the final. Is this the year they avenged that defeat at Wembley 26 years ago?
Old Lord Arthur Kinnaird with 9 final appearances between 1873 and 18...
is backing the UK Olympic and Paralympic bid. Register your support at www.london2012.org. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 12th meeting between...
Leave early because there are players who could clinch it in a blink of an eye.
I tell everybody to stay to the end because this is going to run and run and run, even to the last second of the game, I think, today.
Ashley Cole going through his warm-ups, and of course there is this man who has played his full part in recent years for Arsenal, of course. Biggest talking point concerning Dennis Bergkamp over the closing weeks of this season for Arsenal. What will happen to him next time round? Bergkamp says he's hopeful about staying on at the Gunners, and after all, he has not just taken the club to his heart, but all its tradition and its FA Cup history. And the FA Cup is in his heart over recent years.
I did get injured a day before the game. I came back from injury, but it was too soon, so I got injured. Personally, it was a bit sad that I couldn't play, but the day was fantastic with the fans. Wembley sold out, beautiful day, and it was a good result for us as well. But watching it on television as a kid, and then experience it by yourself in real life, it was fantastic. It was strange because we were leading, and 10 minutes, 15 minutes before time, they scored 2 goals, and that was it. Personally, I came on 2 minutes before the end, and yeah, you didn't have time to get into the game to do something. It was very frustrating in many ways for me personally. Yeah, well, that was sort of revenge. It's a different team, but for us to get it right that year, it's a special feeling to get to the final, to play in that competition, and yeah, to get the win then in Cardiff, which was a bit new for us. When you get to that final, you got all the experience, of course. You know you've done it before. You've lost there, you won there, and you know exactly what to do to win it again. And we were very composed, very solid. And even before the game, we said to each other, we just want to win this game and get it over with. He changed the team. He changed the team into a team who likes to play attacking football and do that in a certain way, with one-touch football and always going forward and a lot of movement in the team. And yeah, that's exactly how I like to play football and how I like to see players playing football. In the bus on the way to the stadium, you see a lot of fans, you see the opponent's fans, and yeah, as I said, it starts to build up more and more, and you realize that it's becoming closer. When you're in the dressing room again, then you settle down a bit, because then it's just a normal preparation what you have with any game. We talk about Man United, we talk about Arsenal, but we're both teams that they have to win trophies in a season, otherwise it's not a successful season. So we know this is a special one. We're more focused on the game itself than on the day, because we've been there both before. Just the game is going to be special, important.
Even with all he's achieved, he sounds and looks today, Viv, like a man for whom victory is absolutely paramount.
Paramount's the right word, I must admit. He's 36 years of age now, and they're talking about should they give him a contract or shouldn't they. I think he's in the same similar mode to Ryan Giggs. Still watch him perform week in, week out. He might not play every week these days, but his contribution in football matches is vital. He sees a pass, he can get a goal himself. I'd give him another year at least anyway, because as long as he wants to play for another year. From that VT, he seems to want to play on a bit longer, and I don't see why he couldn't. I'd play till he was 39, why not?
Well, and what about his contribution to Arsenal Football Club? You know, he said, if they don't offer me anything else, I will not play for another club, because everything else is a step down.
Yeah, I think he's right as well. He's made a lot of money now. What he's done for Arsenal Football Club over the 10 years is nothing short of astonishing. You know, similar to the thing to Roy Keane. What he's achieved at the football club is second to none. And I think, as anything else, I would give him another year.
His responsibility the greater today for Arsenal, of course, because of the absence of the man who, year in, year out, Thierry Henry, can be relied upon to get 25, 35, 40 goals a season, but not in this FA Cup final today.
Yes, it's confirmed now that he's definitely not playing, so Alex can relax. But when Ian Wright was at the Arsenal, I thought nobody would beat his total, his tally. I don't know how many short he is now.
He's only 4 short.
4 short. He's done phenomenally well. He started there as a winger when he first went to the Arsenal. They converted him to a centre forward, and he's never looked back. He's a phenomenal. He'll be a big miss for them today.
But you know what it's like. One remembers the replay, Sheffield Wednesday replay.
Yes.
When you had to miss out because of injury.
That's right. It's never good, you know, to miss out. Watching all the lads warm up, he stood there thinking, if I could only be there. But he's still young enough. He'll come again and probably score again in an FA Cup final. But going back to him, he's a phenomenal player, and he'll be sadly missed today. He could be the difference between winning and losing today.
Grim determination also on the faces of these Manchester United players, much like the Arsenal camp. Dennis Bergkamp it was who said both these clubs have to win this one. When it comes to winners, though, there are players like Paul Scholes and Roy Keane who are winners supreme for more than a decade for Manchester United. Inspired by a man who has made winning his prerogative. But it might have all been so different for Sir Alex Ferguson had he not claimed his first FA Cup final victory.
I always remember the second half, players had their socks down over their ankles, and God, it was really grueling. And then they had to go to extra time, and we're 3-2 down in extra time with 6 minutes to go. And fortunately, Mark Hughes rescued us for a great pass from Danny Wallace. I always remember the pass. You know, Mark, yeah, he was always a great player in big games in particular. But the pass from Danny Wallace was fantastic. But, oh, it was so close. It was a really, really tight one, that.
Up comes Neil Webb. Oh, aiming for Lee Martin, who could be in here. He is! A goal for United! Well, such relief for Alex Ferguson. A first trophy in charge at Old Trafford, and that should keep the critics off his back for now, anyway.
I'd been at the club 3 years and hadn't won a trophy. I think there was a general pressure, not just myself and everyone, the directors too, and the supporters were under pressure, you know, the frustration of it all. So to win my first trophy, doesn't matter what it was, Tiddlywinks or the FA Cup, it was so important. My big problem coming into that cup final, I always remember, is I left Brian Robson out, which was, I'd only 2 substitutions. But Brian had accepted a position of player manager at Middlesbrough, and it was one of these horrible decisions you have to make. So it always sticks out in my mind about that, and also the fact that we get 2 penalty kicks in the final. It's very unusual to get 2 penalty kicks in the final, and Eric Cantona scored the both of them. Oh, it was a horrible game. Nobody seemed to be able to prize an opening in the match. I don't think the goalkeeper's got a save. But the goal itself, I always remember David Beckham kept knocking these corners, kicks into David James' hands all the time. And I says to my assistant, Brian Kidd, I says, if he knocks another one into his hands, he's coming off. And of course he did, but David James spilled it.
James just got his hand to it. Captain Arnold driving back.
It was a perfect example about someone's mobility and balance, because I've seen it time and time again, players have put that over the bar. And of course it was beautifully struck and went to the centre of the goal, you know. It was a great moment. It was a very easy final. I think we were on such a run by that time, and momentum was bigger and bigger, you know, and I think it was only going to be one winner.
It's Scholes sliding it on to Sheringham! And Sheringham to Scholes!
If we'd have lost that game, it would have been an absolute sensation. And I knew that Millwall would be very organised and make it difficult for us. And in fairness to them, they did for 30-odd minutes. I think it would be 35 minutes or something like that, until Ronaldo scored. And of course, after that, it was very simple job to do. The important thing was to, in these situations, not to get carried away and don't show disrespect to your opponents. It was out to do the proper job professionally, and I was proud of the players for doing that.
What a story that one manager has woven in the FA Cup, record-breaking in his own terms, Viv, and you were in there at the very start of it.
Yeah, it could have been all different. We went to Nottingham Forest in an FA Cup tie, one of the earlier rounds, and the rumour at the club at the time was if we get beat that day, the manager was out of a job. We went on, I think Mark Robins scored, I think we went on to win 1-0, and we went and managed to win the Cup that year, and as I say, the rest is history, but it could have been all so different, I must admit.
Well, let's take a check now, shall we, on final preparations from both camps this week. Arsenal were the first club to face the press, and Jim Proudfoot was there for us.
They reluctantly surrendered their Premiership crown to Chelsea and once again failed to conquer Europe. Only victory in this year's FA Cup final can salvage the season for Arsenal as they face the press at London Colney ahead of their dramatic showdown with Manchester United. All the talk was of the prospect of a classic cup final.
We both need to win something, and I think it'll be one of the best finals probably that they've had, definitely.
This game is, of course, too close to call. Arsenal finished a comfortable 12 points clear of United in the Premiership, but United beat Arsenal 3 times in League and Cup competitions this season. Arsene Wenger believes this time his players will have the edge.
We want to make sure that that little bit extra special motivation will be on our side, and the fact that they have beaten us in the Championship, I think, will give us as well that little bit extra bite to win the game.
Whatever happens today, one thing's for sure. Arsenal can expect a bruising encounter. They were roughed up in their semi-final against Blackburn Rovers, and their matches against Manchester United this season have been just as physical. Expect more of the same.
Well, I think it's their only chance to keep up with us. If they want to try to play like we can play, they obviously will lose. And so they have to intimidate us by techniques and by a very, very physical style of their game.
The battle for midfield supremacy will certainly be incendiary. 2 of English football's most influential players going head-to-head. This afternoon's showdown between Patrick Vieira and Roy Keane could be decisive. Who'll come out on top?
What do you want me to say about that question? I think he's a really important player for the Man United. I feel like I'm a really important player for Arsenal, and both players will want to win the game.
A match-fit Vieira is a big plus, but Arsenal will miss the Premier League's top scorer. Thierry Henry is out of today's match with an Achilles injury. Arsene Wenger, though, has other options. Jose Reyes has shaken off his own injury concerns and will almost certainly feature in his first FA Cup final.
Who plays basically on a day like that is not too important. It's a one-off, you know. What is important is how you play on the day, how much you can get all your resources out on a day and you play like we can. We are used to play there. We've played 5 finals in 7 years. And so we know what is expecting us, and I'm convinced that we will be at our best on Saturday afternoon.
Viv, it sounds like Arsenal want to put on a show of the attacking football that would take anyone's breath away, but are they expecting to see Manchester United trying to get in their faces again here today as they've done previously this season?
No, I think they've done that before. I think they're both talented sides here. The physical aspect of football has always been there and always will be. It's a physical game, and they're making too much of the point of the physical side of it. I think it's about 2 fantastic football teams with great ability in both sets, and whoever wins it on the day with a bit of luck will come out on champions.
We know what Arsenal can produce, of course, but their disappointments have been manifold this season. Even more so, of course, for Manchester United, a season of upheaval and considerable disappointment, and this is the chance today to send out to a watching audience of United fans all around the world that all will be well for this great club. Jim Proudfoot again on their final preparations.
Manchester United may be under new ownership, but it was business as usual at Carrington this week as Sir Alex Ferguson and his captain Roy Keane called for unity both on and off the pitch.
Of course the fans are emotional, and the loyalty they have shown over the years is understandable. But I'm sure they won't let us down on Saturday either. It's their big day too. They want us to win the cup. So therefore we have a united front on Saturday. It's Manchester United complete, with the support and the players together to win this cup on Saturday. Nothing else matters.
Going into the match, United had a mixture of good and bad news. Paul Scholes appears to have shrugged off a groin injury, but Gary Neville looks likely to miss out on the big day. On the plus side, goalkeeper Tim Howard and 31-year-old Ryan Giggs both signed new contracts this week. But you sense a win today is imperative after another disappointing season.
I think we'd always judge ourselves on the league, on the Champions League, but you know the FA Cup is very important, especially to Man United, and you know we'll be going all out to win it.
Captain Keane clearly enjoys the FA Cup. This will be a record 7th final, and who knows, a record equaling 5th win.
Hopefully we will win the FA Cup. And again, it's not really about how many I might have won. You know, it is about the club trying to win on Saturday, and that's all we're really focused on.
United won't need any extra motivation against today's opponents. In recent years, there's been no bigger rivalry in English football than between Arsenal and Manchester United.
If you look at what's been happening the last 10 years, you see Manchester United and Arsenal have been competing for the trophies all the time. So it's been going on for a long time, and it's been an incredible, fantastic competition between 2 great clubs, and it won't be any different on Saturday.
This season in meetings between the clubs, United have enjoyed the upper hand. But after a 21-match unbeaten run, they stumbled to another 3rd-place finish in the Premier League. This is the chance to make amends.
But it should be a great game because there's enough great players in that field from both teams to make it a great cup final.
You know, over the years I've always seen Arsenal as our biggest rivals, ahead of Chelsea and Liverpool and teams like that. And I'm sure I think it'll be a great game on Saturday. I know FA Cup finals sometimes can be an anti-climax, but I think it'll be pretty explosive, to be honest with you.
Viv Anderson, what did you make of the mood emanating from the Manchester United camp this week?
You look at Sir Alex and you look at Roy Keane, the determination in Roy's face there to win that trophy on Saturday. That was on Thursday or Wednesday of last week. His determination in his face and his demeanour says everything for me. He'll be instilling that in the players right now as we speak. I think his determination to win that cup today is paramount.
We've had big clubs in this final in recent years, but one struggles to remember an occasion where there was such an edge to a match upcoming. Let's confirm the 2 teams now for this FA Cup final. Arsenal first, with Jens Lehmann in goal. Across the back, Lauren, Kolo Toure and Philippe Senderos alongside Ashley Cole, and that means no place at the back today for Sol Campbell, Viv.
Yes, I'm surprised there. Although Sol's come in for the last couple of games, clearly he's not quite match fit, but Senderos and Toure have done very well in his absence.
Cesc Fabregas, a revelation, Patrick Vieira and Gilberto Silva in midfield. And you saw the rest of the Arsenal lineup. So to Manchester United, starting with Roy Carroll in goal and John O'Shea in at right back. Despite the smiles, Gary Neville only makes the bench today, and that is the same back four that played for United in the last Premiership game at Southampton.
I think he might play Wes Brown at right back and John O'Shea go to left back. Would play with Rio Ferdinand and Sylvester as centre backs. Darren Fletcher's in, I see there, which is as you say, Ryan Giggs is on the subs bench, and it looks a very, very forward-thinking Manchester United.
With the emphasis on attack, do you feel that they want to go out and take the game to Arsenal?
Most definitely, yes. I think they're going to attack them as much as they can. That's the Manchester United way at the end of the day. They want to play good, attractive football, and they come in here to win by the line-up there.
Fred the Red certainly thinks so. They're nearly all in here now, and we've got a fantastic atmosphere. Cardiff has been such a success as a home in the recent years for the FA Cup final, and part of the pageantry, the traditional performance of the FA Cup final hymn, Abide With Me, upcoming shortly. The massed bands of the King's Division of the Waterloo Band are making their way out across the turf here at the Millennium Stadium, and everywhere people are standing in anticipation, with kick-off only a few minutes away now. But it would not be the FA Cup final without all the dignified preliminaries, Viv, on a day like this, would it? It just gives so much to the occasion.
Yes, very much so. This is all part and parcel of it. The Abide With Me, the tradition that's gone on for years and years and years.
Catherine Jenkins, Hayley Westenra and Alan Clayton are performers here.
So there we are, we're about 10 or so minutes away from kick-off in the 126th FA Cup final. It's Arsenal against Manchester United. Remember, Manchester United will be playing in the change strip of all black. Arsenal will retain its colours of red and white, having won the toss. And we've seen the lineup earlier, and Craig Foster and Jesper Olsen are back with me. Fozzie, your comment on the lineups. The big story on Arsenal, first of all, was that Ljungberg is out and Fabregas is in.
Ljungberg only played, I think, 70 minutes last weekend after coming off a hip injury. Henry, we knew he was going to be out. He's a massive loss, 25 goals in the league this season. Fantastic player, the talisman for Arsenal over the last couple of seasons. Although, having said that, in the big games, FA Cup finals and other things, often he hasn't been at his best. But a lot rests on the shoulders of Reyes tonight. Vieira's key in the midfield. Nice to see Gilberto Silva back alongside Vieira. So often this season he's missed either Gilberto or Edu in beside him. That was the combination that they had all last season when they were undefeated, and I think he'll benefit from another experienced player alongside Vieira.
And good to see Bergkamp playing. Jesper, do you not think so?
Fantastic. I mean, Bergkamp is one of those players that you would, you know, pay a lot of money to go and watch with his skill, and it's one of those games, I think, where he could be of big importance to Arsenal by missing Henry, obviously.
And your comment on the Man United lineup. Gary Neville has missed out. Looks like he didn't make it through the fitness test. So O'Shea is in at right back, and the veteran, or approaching veteran status, Ryan Giggs is out. Fletcher is in.
Well, Giggs is a big surprise, I think, because you will play Rooney possibly on the right to start with, and Cristiano Ronaldo on the left, and then have Van Nistelrooy in the middle on his own. So not quite sure what the game plan is completely, but it's certainly strange that Giggs is out. And I don't know if there's anything wrong with him or not, but we'll see what happens.
Your comment on the Man U lineup, Fozzie?
Roy Keane looms massive again. He's the only player being spoken about by Ferguson this week, and he's been pumping his skipper up, saying how important he is. He's not the player he was, but he's still a massive presence in this United side. He drives everything, drives them forward. Everything goes through him. His quality on the ball. He's the player who, for them, has to keep Rooney in check, has to make sure that it doesn't go over the top, really. And there's the first 15 or 20 minutes of this match should be some spectacle to see, because the build-up's been massive, as it always is, but the intensity and the bitter rivalry between these two clubs now has really gone to new levels in the last 2 seasons. Every time they've played, we've had send-offs, we've had fights, we've had all sorts of, we've had pies and soup thrown, we've had the whole gamut. And it's very rare throughout the history of English football that you can ever say we've come to a final FA Cup between these two clubs, and it's their only chance of trophies in this season. It's massive.
All right, Fozzie, thank you. The anthem is on, and after that our commentators will be Martin Tyler and Andy Gray.
With the guest of honour, Prince Michael of Kent, who last presented the trophy in 1981, and he did it to a North London club, Spurs. Here are the holders. Arsenal or Manchester United have been in all 4 previous FA Cup finals in Cardiff. And now both for the 5th and seemingly the last, they're both here.
Pretty fitting that, wouldn't you say? And probably the most important one that either of them have played in.
Arsenal's preparations have been more understated. Just another match is Arsene Wenger's belief, a match that does come, though, with a new suit.
And a wet one in a minute.
And a new suit for the referees, isn't it? We've obviously been accustomed to black in FA Cup finals. For Manchester United in the black kit today, so Rob Stiles and his assistants all have switched to yellow. For both clubs, the season started here in Cardiff with Arsenal beating United in the Community Shield. 3 more meetings since then, all won by Manchester United. Arsenal have suffered that Premiership double defeat, and in between, the junior Arsenal side were knocked out of the Carling Cup by a pretty much reserved Manchester United side. It's in the record books, though.
most of these players have been through this experience before. But Arsenal have more of the newcomers. They were called babies by their rivals this week. Well, Arsene Wenger has gone for youth. Philippe Senderos starts at the back. Sol Campbell, suspended from the final 2 years ago, is only a substitute now. In midfield, 18-year-old, only just 18, Cesc Fabregas. At twice his age, Dennis Bergkamp, still not sure of a new contract. He looks for his first Millennium Stadium goal, playing up front in the absence of Thierry Henry. Both first-choice fullbacks missing for Manchester United. Gabriel Heinze always likely to be out. But Gary Neville hasn't quite made it after a groin strain. He is on the bench. So it is the back four that started at Southampton 6 days ago. Nevertheless, 9 of the side have FA Cup final experience. The newcomers to this great occasion, Rio Ferdinand, who was under suspension this time last year, and of course Wayne Rooney, looking for the perfect climax to his first season with Manchester United. Andy.
Well, we arrive at the game. The manager's put the thoughts down on paper. This is what we get. And it is a surprise from Arsenal. I think Arsene Wenger's taken a lot by surprise. He's taken the last 3 games into consideration. And he's got to strengthen that midfield area. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind about that. But the way they play, I don't think it'll affect them. They're solid and strong at the back. That's why Senderos is picked ahead of Sol Campbell. His performances this year have been sensational. And up ahead of that, I think they can play with Dennis Bergkamp because he'll wander about. They don't play normally with a man who stands up there and is marked anyway. And they'll look for support from the midfield area, particularly from the wide areas and from Fabregas and Vieira from the central areas. And I don't think it'll upset them too much. But many people will say, first blood Manchester United. Sir Alex, well, his team was easier to predict in many ways. And certainly his formation was very easy to predict. It was always going to be, for me, the team that he's picked, the formation that he's picked. The threat does come from Ronaldo and Rooney in wide areas, supporting Van Nistelrooy, Fletcher and Scholes in wide areas. The biggest difference between the two teams, I feel, Arsenal defensively have a unit. Manchester United have individuals. And for Manchester United, they have a finisher, and Arsenal don't.
Well, the two captains stalked each other's like stags, looking for the high ground when the clubs last met in February. They have to go through the formalities here. Many of the past records of these players against each other read like crime sheets. Plenty of previous, and it could be the most combustible FA Cup final.
I tell you, so much has been made, and particularly Ryan Giggs' omission. He'll be absolutely choked, Ryan Giggs. He might have played in lots of these, and he might think, well, it's not my day, don't you believe it? He's also thinking this might be my last chance to play in an FA Cup final. Although he signed that new, long, well, 2-year deal recently, he must have thought he had a chance, and he wasn't.
Fabregas, who's had far more experience this season than he or I think Arsene Wenger would have expected. He's been needed and he has answered the challenge, but this is a major challenge against the most successful FA Cup manager of all time. It's a challenge for Rob Styles, the reward of refereeing the FA Cup final, but the responsibility that comes with it is enormous today, because this is Star Wars, the Millennium Battle. It's now on your screens. There's the capacity for heroism on both sides. The dark side, certainly in terms of the kit, is Manchester United. The pitch has been soaked today. And it's always a bit vulnerable as a re-turfed area to this sort of weather. That's why they have the roof here. It hasn't been brought into play.
Just a touch early. That's why Rob Styles is waiting and waiting. Just a little bit before 3 o'clock. There it goes.
Manchester United kick off. They show when they play like warriors. Arsenal do find it hard to match them. If it comes to a pure footballing contest, well, that could favour the Gunners with their wonderful one-touch style.
A lot's been made of that game at Old Trafford, Mark, but I'm surprised Manchester United didn't make more of the fact that they went to Highbury, played Arsenal off the pitch in a fantastic 4-2 victory. But looking early on here, what I noticed with Manchester United, and the wide players are very much can be key. Wayne Rooney's actually starting right-hand side and Ronaldo left. Is that because he might be better suited defensively than Ronaldo to cope a little bit with Cole and whoever's there? And also Arsenal have kept Perez on their left-hand side because he's used to it, because he plays that with Ashley Cole better than probably Reyes. That's two interesting little start-ups at the beginning of the game.
And of course it could be a bluff or two. They could switch back.
Oh, they can change it any time, absolutely.
There's a big onus on the two out-and-out strikers. Bergkamp, even if he gets another season, which I think he's perhaps likely to be rewarded with.
They just might try and work Bergkamp in this sort of area. I know that sounds daft, but at 35 years of age, if you're doing little shuttles between centre-backs for long periods, it takes it out of you.
Ruud van Nistelrooy, his fellow countryman, who's short of matches himself, and although when he has been playing, he has been scoring, as usual. And Senderos, who's had a good run in the team. Sol Campbell's recovery didn't quite come in time. Vieira on Rooney. Maybe there was a young man for a big occasion. Looks like the Manchester United number 8, but at the moment he's staying closer to the touchline than the goal that he's attacking. It's Rooney's cross. Manchester United have got a lot of players forward, including Mikhail Silvestre.
They loaded up there, Manchester United as well. We're looking for a Shea, Silvestre going up to supplement them. Ronaldo is also very good in there. It might be an area that Manchester United fancy testing Arsenal.
Paul Scholes, a slight doubt about him with a similar problem to Gary Neville's. Darren Fletcher's come through some fitness scrutiny as well. Who will get it right on the big day? And the days don't come much bigger in English domestic football than this. Ferdinand, who had to watch from the sidelines when Manchester United had a pretty comfortable ride in last year's final against Millwall. And Nistelrooy scored twice, you'll recall. O'Shea.
Close, I'd say, yes. I think he was. They walked the line. He just tried to get back. He just looked, and it's a pretty good line Arsenal have held. Full marks to them for that. And that's what I expect to see from all the wide players. I don't expect them to sit there and occupy wide areas for 90 minutes. They'll drift in from the wide areas, go and try and influence the play elsewhere. That's when they really do become a threat.
Toure. Here's Perez looking to pick a pass to Lauren. It was noticeable that Robert Perez just had to set himself on this rather slimy top. Scholes tucking in. Wes Brown switched again to right back today. And Nistelrooy short of a bit of support, but he's been penalised anyway by referee Styles. Fabregas. Perez, they've worked it to Ashley Cole. Conspicuous shortage of numbers as the cross came in.
It's got to be perfect, isn't it? But that was a little warning to Manchester United that if Rooney switches off in a situation like that, and Fletcher's not aware because he's the right-sided of the players, then they'll get in and they'll pick him out.
Fabregas running into trouble. Arsenal got it back with Gilberto, who's returned from injury, has really been a vital part of their jigsaw. It's no coincidence that they've got their better form back with Gilberto back.
Yeah.
Had a busy week, Ashley Cole. There's some concern on the face of Sir Alex Ferguson. Looking at one or two areas, particularly the fitness of the players who've only just made it into the team, but Ronaldo full of running as usual. A marvellous game in that marvellous performance that Andy was referring to at Highbury in February. He's got the better of Lauren. He's picked out Scholes.
Oh, wouldn't you just want to pick out Scholes as well? Couldn't have asked for better. The little man arrived right on cue. There's a little warning to Lauren. He's in for a tough time if they get the ball there. And I think the only thing he does wrong and the only thing he gets wrong is that by trying to put power in it, he just sacrificed a little in his accuracy. Just stood in there. Only criticism, had he been arriving, I think we might have had a different result.
As Paul Scholes, of course, beat Arsenal with the winner in the semi-final last season. It's the 11th pairing in the FA Cup between the two clubs, and it won't surprise you to learn that it's been 5 victories apiece. Gilberto. Lauren to Senderos. Fabregas. There's maturity way beyond his years. Pires had to stretch.
Well, he has, and I think it's the type of game we come into it. There's not really any nerves about the pitch. We have to talk about the early moments of an FA Cup final, but these players have played, most of them have played such big games, and there hasn't been anything. They've got it down. They've all wanted to get on the ball. They've wanted to pass it about.
Senderos looking for a runner who is Reyes. Roy Carroll hesitated, and Reyes is rounded. Now what can he do here? He hasn't gone for what was a vacant-ish goal, certainly without a goalkeeper. Fabregas, Gilberto and Manchester United with Keane having to restore some order here. He hasn't done that. He's played it straight to Pires. Gilberto was looking for Bergkamp. Vieira has a whack, but Roy Carroll will be relieved. And in the end, there was no direct challenge until that final Vieira shot to the goal that he vacated.
Well, it's a good run from Reyes. It's another example of what the wide players will do. Roy Carroll gets away with this. The goal's pretty well protected, and Reyes' behalf there. I don't think he would have scored direct from there. But he just sends him wide enough, and I think had he been able to play it then, he would have done. He had a quick look, he saw the goal covered, decided to try again. Just Roy Keane when he got the ball just after that in his own penalty area. Just a little sloppy with the ball out to the edge of the 18-yard box. It got cut out.
Lauren. Just wonder if it had been the mirror image of that situation and Reyes had got it on his left foot as he has now, whether he would have gone for goal. He does now. Because even with players back on the line, if you get it above head height, you give those defenders a major problem and the risk of a red card. Pires running into a very congested area. Manchester United have been good at denying Arsenal space. And Roy Keane's having a right go at Roy Carroll.
Yeah, just because he thumped it. And he's also having a go at John O'Shea. He wanted O'Shea to show in that situation and get the ball. He could have done quite easily. It's a pretty decent start to the game. It's zipped about the ball across the surface. Both teams looking to get it down and play.
Senderos. Toure. Bergkamp tried to spin in behind like Henry. Even in his younger years, he was never like Henry in terms of acceleration, but of course he's got great craft.
Yeah, I mean, ideally in a perfect world, you want to push Dennis Bergkamp as nearly halfway line as you could. And if you wanted to run under and feel confident, the problem you've got if you do that is that someone like Reyes has every chance of springing that.
But it's funny, isn't it, Andy, because we sort of invented the Bergkamp position as describers of the game. Teddy Sheringham would know about it. Off another striker. The veteran Dutchman is the main man. You can see him just thinking about trying to stop Manchester United playing from the back. And he's got energy to conserve. Keane, Rooney. Brown on the gallop.
Nearly.
Arsene Wenger has spent part of his cup final week at that FA inquiry involving Ashley Cole. And what have Manchester United. We last saw them, Andy, against Chelsea. They're the same fellas, but it's not the same football club. Now in the hands of Malcolm Glazer. Probably the most relaxed people around Manchester United, and there's a lot of edginess, are the players themselves. They've got their confidence to protect them.
Yeah, I don't think that sort of thing affects the footballers in the build-up to games like this. And I think we have got what we've got here. We've got an unbelievably good matchup from two teams who are so close together that you just don't know what is going to settle it. Is it going to be a mistake, an error from a player, or is it going to be a piece of brilliance? Because there's plenty on the pitch capable of doing that.
Yes, Chelsea will rightly claim to be the team of the season, but we've got a summit meeting as far as FA Cup history is concerned. And indeed, plenty of Premiership present about it. Manchester United with that league double over Arsenal, but they weren't good enough to take advantage of it themselves. Obviously, it opened the door for Chelsea, and it made sure that their fierce rivals wouldn't retain the league title. Oh, and it's a nutmeg on Fabregas by Scholes.
Nice attempt. You see what he was looking for, the little ball in behind Senderos for Van Nistelrooy one. It would have been a difficult one because slick surface, it was always going away.
Nicely done on the turn by Brown, but it's not easy for Manchester United to get out to pick a more advanced player. Bergkamp.
Well, both have that problem, don't they? That's the thing when they get it. It's going to be intricate, passing, movement. Neither has the support up there for Bergkamp and Van Nistelrooy.
Here's Reyes roaming. Lovely touch by Vieira, who's caught by Brown. Rob Styles entitled to play the advantage. Pires with the cutback. Bergkamp got a toe to it. The player following in was a little too far forward to benefit from that Reyes.
Well, Wells Brown's getting a little talking to. The tackle, it was late in Vieira, I feel sure of that. This one here. I mean, it might have been a foul, probably was a foul, but good refereeing, kept it going. He'll be half pleased, the referee. It's been 13 minutes of quite easy stuff for him.
Just that long for Van Nistelrooy, and Toure had some trouble, but it fell for Senderos. Gilberto. Bergkamp took it with great technique. Gilberto had gone on running, but he was the only one. And Scholes was penalised for bringing down the Arsenal frontman.
Well, talk about it, that's the system that they've adopted to use, Arsenal. If it goes up like that to the front, he's got to hold it and hold it and hold it. To be fair to Dennis Bergkamp, he can do all that, second nature to him. Possession of the ball. Is it a bit too far? I wonder. I would half think about hitting this, I'll be honest with you, because it's wet, it's slippy. Neither goalkeeper's really made a save in the opening 13 and a half minutes, so just test him, hit the target, follow it in, spills it, chance.
Reyes or Bergkamp. That's why Carroll's wondering, but it's clearly Bergkamp straight into the wall. He went for the power. Certainly like a boxer wanting to influence the judges towards the end of a round. Dennis Bergkamp's come good at the end of his season. And the judges in his case, Arsene Wenger and the Arsenal board, the fans certainly wanted to have another year. Scored in the last 2 games. And involved in creating plenty of other goals as well for the Gunners in the run-in. Rooney.
The early moments of this game really are interesting because we've got a midfield that's like a bit like the N25 in rush hour, like that. It's just a congestion of players. There's very, very little room about when both teams get set for them to play. Crowded out here. Just see he's got a hold of the shot, Van Nistelrooy.
Senderos. Manchester United quite happy to say to Arsenal, you can have the ball here. Are you really going to hurt us like that? Bergkamp really isolated. And Rob Styles concerned about Sylvestre. bang on the head.
Yeah, mate, just got caught with a flailing arm as Bergkamp jumped. The referee indicated there he felt it was just a coming together. Wouldn't argue with that. He just tosses up. You see, he's got up. There's the arm, and it just scratches him a little bit. You know, we talk about it time and again. You cannot jump. It's impossible if you don't use your arms like that for leverage. And if you got up slightly earlier than the player you're jumping with, then he's the one who's going to cop it.
Player cam on offer for you today if you're a Sky Digital viewer, and it's currently following Dennis Bergkamp. It's not the only thing that's following him. It's Rio Ferdinand and Mikhail Silvestre, although Silvestre needs to obey the protocol for getting treatment on the pitch. Rob Swire, the physio for Manchester United, will shortly be back. Paradoxically, Manchester United finished their league campaign with a win, but it looked more out of sorts in their closing games. Arsenal lost their last Premiership game, but have generally been in excellent form since their semi-final win here. Very conclusive victories in Cardiff for both these clubs. And Nistelrooy, Rooney. England colleague Ashley Cole went in thinking he might get it, but he didn't, and he's going to get a yellow card.
And Rooney might be more injured than you think. This is real clumsy from Ashley Cole. He's tempted because of Rooney's bad control, and it gets away with him, but he's so quick, Rooney, to recover. Way thumps down on his back. He knows Rooney's a threat. He knows all about him, Ashley Cole. He wanted to try and snuff it out early. And I think, rightly, the first player to commit a tackle like that, I think was always going to receive a yellow card. But you wouldn't want to be facing Rooney for another 70 minutes or so with him getting the ball and coming at you, knowing you can't make a rash challenge again.
That's the position that Ashley Cole finds himself in. Ronaldo takes it, and Toure with no alternative but to concede the corner.
That's a good ball in, and there's a little disappointment that Manchester United had no one there. Lovely area. Talking about the 6-yard box, but they were just a little slow, United players.
Manchester United have never won the FA Cup in consecutive seasons. This is a chance for them to do that. The corner slightly overstruck by Scholes. There's a lot of talk at the semi-final stage, Andy, about using this stadium. It will take something off the final. I don't think that has been the case
over the last 4 years or so. No, it does release a fantastic atmosphere in the Millennium Stadium. I don't think any footballer who's played here would ever complain that there was a lack of atmosphere. I mean, there's something special about the FA Cup final being at Wembley in London. There's no doubt about it. Assuming there's no delays, we should all be back there this time next year.
But it is possible that the semis might be restaged here for one more year. Certainly it's not easy to get to this ground. It's very tricky to get away from, but the welcome is very warm.
Well, 20 minutes in, and I think that says it all about where the possession's been. 3/4 of the game's being played in that midfield third. It has been a game like chess. Now the team's really tried to stretch it too much at the moment. By that is what I mean. And people might think that's a nothing ball, but then tempts centre-backs to think, is it coming long, is it going short? At the moment it's all been going short. Back fours have known that. And therefore the game's been a bit squeezed.
It's a fair tackle on Rooney by Vieira. Arsenal cooking it as they love to do. And there's Gilberto having to wait for support.
They did well. I saw a little niggle. Perez on Wes Brown. Just as the ball was released.
Of course, this is a system that Manchester United have used regularly this season. Not so for Arsenal. They've played occasionally in European games. And I asked how long they've been rehearsing for this cup final with it. I was told about an hour. And at the moment, although they had, as you saw from those action areas, a little bit more of the attacking play, they haven't looked particularly convincing with it. And here's Ronaldo, who's had one very good run already. And finds Fletcher. Shot hits Patrick Vieira. Rooney's cross. Ronaldo's useful in the air.
That was a chance for Manchester United. And the ball from Ronaldo to Fletcher wasn't good enough because Fletcher had to control it. He just lays it in front of him, he steps onto it and hits it.
Another good advantage played by Rob Styles as Fabregas was impeded. Could be a very good advantage for Arsenal. Ray is still going. Ferdinand's bought Manchester United a bit of time and Fletcher's got the ball. But Van Nistelrooy wrong-footed, and again, they attempt to find a front man. It's very difficult for both camps. Lauren. Bergkamp, who was pretty much attacked from behind by a combination of Keane and Silvestre. And Silvestre has been picked out as the real culprit. He's got a caution.
I think it's a little unlucky, for being honest. Roy Keane, the reason he's down like that was a little challenge with Fabregas. I think it was Fabregas when they came, but it was a collision in the middle of midfield when Rob Styles allowed play to go on and Arsenal almost got in. But Roy Keane's never looked happy since that moment. Whether he's just winded, certainly Manchester United would hope that that's the case.
Went off very early in the cup final, didn't he, in 1999 against Newcastle. Even earlier than this, but he stays on and joins the end of the Manchester United wall that's not looking particularly solid at the moment.
Well, I'd like to see a keeper make a save. Then I think we're at the FA Cup final. Quarter of it gone and we haven't yet had a shot on target.
This one does belong to Reyes. Got it through, but you didn't get your wish.
Well, it's not a great effort, but I have to say it's just as well because it wasn't a brilliant wall that Manchester United set up, and that's why Roy Carroll's asking the question. Was that a flimsy?
Confirmation of what we told you earlier, that Mikel Silvestre was booked. But Roy Keane has a problem.
Struggling. Yeah, I tell you.
And that can only be bad news for Manchester United, who particularly in matches against Arsenal, look to their charismatic captain for the right kind of lead. Ronaldo. Silvestre. Ferdinand. Guided off by Rooney, anticipation by Cole, but he didn't get away with the ball. It's Brown who stopped him. Vieira, there's no one wide right because Reyes has pushed in alongside Bergkamp a little bit. Senderos, almost 25 tactical minutes gone.
Well, you couldn't have described it any better. That is what it's been. It's been chessboard stuff.
A match up in the middle of the field.
It's cancelling each other out at the moment.
Bergkamp started to roam a bit, and Reyes, whether it's just the shape of the game, Andy, at the moment, but he's certainly central as we look.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're going to find that. I really do. I think Reyes will wander.
Pires, Vieira, Bergkamp, Pires, now Cole, Reyes, trying to clip it over the challenge, and got too much on the ball.
Well, he's still struggling. This is what I was talking about. This is the situation that comes in. And you see the left knee of Fabregas right into the groin area of Roy Keane. Just painful. Well, if that's the case, it might just be a bit painful, but I might be able to see that one okay.
Ronaldo heads on again. Defenders certainly outnumbering attackers so far in this 2005 FA Cup final. Arsenal in their 8th game in this stadium, Manchester United's 7th. The cream has risen to the top. Shape of the contest in Cardiff. Lauren has got it across towards Reyes by the near post. Ashley Cole had come herring into the picture, and now is sprinting back as Ronaldo gets away from Vieira. Gilberto intervened, and again there was a problem. It was only a square ball that was on for Cristiano Ronaldo. There's always the chance it would get cut out.
Well, square ball and one target. That's been the factor. You know, and unless someone changes systems or someone just does something out of the ordinary, we might be in for a bit of this in this game.
But the set piece assumes even greater prominence in a match like this.
Well, you're right. I mean, I think that was it the last time we were here at the League Cup final. And Chelsea looked to be going losing. 3 set plays later, they're 3-1 up.
Scholes to take the corner. Fletcher making up his mind for him. They've changed the angle. They've set up Fletcher for a shot. No. He looks to set up Rooney, and you can't blame him. Stopped by Lehmann and put in by Rio Ferdinand, but the flag is up. It doesn't count for Ferdinand, who's still left looking for his first Manchester United goal.
Well, didn't he finish it well, though? And just how close is he? He worked the corner beautifully. Well, the ball goes in, the flag stays down. But you can see it's spot on, it's close, but he's spot on. And what a save! Let's not forget, what a save. Through a ruck of players, pure instinct from Lehmann. That is a top-drawer save from the German goalkeeper. Wonderful strike. Just about half a yard off.
A German goalkeeper who's had absolutely nothing to do to this point.
That's a great save. I mean, we talk about the offside as everyone has done, but we might not be debating offside.
Goal would have stood if it had been Rooney's. Gilberto. Now Vieira. So Arsenal breathe again. Pires. And the force away past Fletcher, who's got good legs, good engine, that's why he's in the team. Vieira. Earned the chance to shoot. It's the sort of top on which you can skim a shot at a goalkeeper as well as well, Rooney's was. Vieira. Pires. Bergkamp. So often Arsenal look for the perfect move, the perfect goal.
Well, really surprising that move, but Bergkamp has controlled it. But just for a second, he thought, didn't he? He thought Rio Ferdinand.
Yes, this is his 115th game for Manchester United. Van Nistelrooy's done brilliantly. Rooney! And so too has Lehmann again. 2 tremendous saves by Jens Lehmann from Wayne Rooney.
This one's easier because it's straight above him. But how well does Van Nistelrooy do? Talk about Cole, his ability to get back and not be easily beaten. But he made it look so easy, Ruud Van Nistelrooy. Good save. Not as good as the first in my book, but good save. And now, after the best part of half an hour, well, the game's come to life a little.
Vieira's header. It's Keane. It's Rooney again. Why was he lurking there?
Well, because he can thump it in the way he can. But this is the one, he just holds his position. Full marks to Ruud Van Nistelrooy. You see what I mean? Straight above the goalkeeper. You expect him to save that.
But Manchester United flexing their muscles in the FA Cup final. They come here as holders of the trophy. They want to leave the same way. And there are very few people
do this. I mean, you'd be surprised. That's why he looks there. Because Manchester United have got that corner up their sleeve. They had it when Beckham used to hit it to Scholes. And Paul Scholes used to thrash the volley. And you're a little surprised that Arsenal, meticulous in the preparation, would have not got that sorted. I think they might be better prepared next corner.
Cole. Now Fabregas in the central midfield, where he likes to play. He's a square peg in a round hole, right of a 4, which is where maybe many of us expected him to play. This change from Arsene Wenger. But it can be seen, Andy, as 4-3-3 rather than 4-5-1 if you can get the Perez's and the Reyes's further forward. They are at the moment.
Yeah, but I think you've got to get someone like Reyes is now in really close proximity.
Well, it hasn't worked in terms of a breakthrough for Arsenal. You remember that game you referred to at Highbury, Arsenal led twice. Still beaten 4-2. That fourth Manchester United goal came when they were playing 10 against 11, and Sylvester had been sent off, and John O'Shea wrapped up the victory. Reyes. Nowhere near.
No. It's really well to hit that there, can't we feel?
O'Shea is a player who's benefited from Gary Neville not quite satisfying Sir Alex Ferguson in terms of being able to last 90 minutes. Keane seems to be moving with much more freedom now. Scholes trying to get some freedom from Fabregas. Rooney, that marauding style.
He might have got it from some referees, but I guess that Rob Stiles felt that he'd lost control of the ball, that he wasn't going to get it other side of Colo Torre. Wouldn't argue with that.
Yeah, it's Van Nistelrooy making a 6-man in the Manchester United midfield for a moment. Scholes. Ronaldo got behind Toure. Rooney quickly on the scene. Scholes trying to support him. Rooney goes down, has a look at the referee.
No, he's not going to get that. More hope than expectation. I think it would be fair to say that Manchester United have probably worked the top end of the pitch better than Arsenal at the moment. The attacking part.
Perez. Live playoff action continues tonight on Sky Sports 1. Southend against Northampton from 6. We might be playing here till almost 6 with the stalemate so far.
Well, if the game stays in this pattern in this way, then somebody will win it 1-0.
Perez. Very much literally under the referee's nose there, the foul on Fletcher.
We're lucky Fabregas there. He's done all right, Rob Stiles. 35 minutes in, he's not had to make a big decision yet, which is always good.
Measured ball by O'Shea. Ronaldo trying to get Arsenal on the back foot again. And
that's not out. That's not out. I didn't think that went out. I'm not right in line, but I'm with the German goalkeeper. I'm with the Arsenal keeper here. And I'll tell you why it's a difficult decision for the linesman to make, because his body is covering the ball.
Let alone a couple of goalposts as well.
Yeah, I mean, just have a quick look at this. As it drops at that near post, then he takes it. Clearly not out. Clearly not out.
Well, the FA Cup history book is littered with controversial moments. And Lehmann makes his point. And there's a bit of room for Arsenal to work into. Certainly, probably the first time we've been able to say that. Manchester United get back through Keane, and Rooney's off and running. Senderos times his challenge impeccably. Kept in by Cole.
I think it's a kind of first half we felt it might be. Cautious a little. Respectful, hugely, of each other.
But one element that's really been missing, delighted to say, has been the enmity between the two.
I didn't think it would be a kicking match. I think that was, it's all bravado from Arsenal, a little bit of pre-match thing, but Manchester United are a very good footballing side, and I don't think people should forget that. But making tackles, don't forget that either. It's part and parcel of playing this game. And being big enough mentally to cope with that is also part and parcel of playing this game.
Good point. O'Shea. Keane. And Mr. Roy just indicating to Roy Keane to work it to the wider position, which he's been able to do to Wes Brown. Robert Perez like defending too much. He's leaving the closing down to Vieira.
And he can come right. They've hooked it well again there, Manchester United.
That has gone up against Van Nistelrooy.
I don't be surprised that you've seen that a couple of times because he plays so much on the shoulder with Van Nistelrooy. You see what scores, he's just trying to fizz it in with pace. He's just offside. And he tests linesmen all the time with Van Nistelrooy. This is an area that hasn't really developed for Arsenal, and it's an area we talk about time and time and time again when you watch this side. The left-hand side of the pitch. They haven't quite put it together yet, and that doesn't mean they won't.
Far and away the top scorers in the Premiership, but their goals record in the FA Cup hasn't been particularly impressive until they came here and got to the three. And two of those very late from a substitute, Robin van Persie, against Blackburn in the semis. It's been the opposite for Manchester United. Had their lowest Premiership total of goals since the league was restructured. They've been firing them in this competition. 4 in the quarter-final at Southampton, 4 here in the semis against Newcastle. It's amazing to think it started with a goalless draw against Exeter City from the conference. And not too many of this Manchester United team were playing that day. Well, it's tight, it's technical, and teams are hoping maybe to hustle an error out of an opposite number. Lauren's got forward here. Ferdinand first to it, Silvestre had to get to it. O'Shea. Good work by Vieira for Arsenal. And Pires, and again, just when there seems to be a glimmer for an attacking player, certainly for an Arsenal attacking player, it goes back to darkness again. Lehmann has had some work to do. Brought up on the FA Cup legend, that is Bert Trautmann, the German goalkeeper who played with a broken neck, had a broken neck sustained in when the FA Cup final, was a winner with Manchester City, 1956.
Well, it's just not happening for the Gunners at the moment. And this attacking third must be worrying Arsene Wenger. They've done all right everywhere else in the pitch. Their passing in the midfield area has been okay. Defensively, apart from a couple of slips, set plays all right. But very, very little at the top end.
And surely he's playing this way. I mean, I guess the Thierry Henry factor has got to be taken into account, but mostly out of respect, which is the word you used, Andy, for Manchester United and what they've done to Arsenal in the league this season.
I can only judge that and that's the reason, because this is a system that he has hammered all season, Arsene Wenger, hasn't he?
He's been the most outspoken.
Absolutely, and yet he comes to a cup final and he plays a system he's never used. I think he might have a decision to make at half-time.
Just occasionally used in European games.
Yeah.
And Arsenal haven't blazed the trail in Europe, have they? And here's Ronaldo. It's too long and Lehmann can see it off. But if he changes it now, Is it an admission that he was wrong to start with it? Will it open the door for Manchester United?
No, I don't think I'll open the door. Is it an admission he's wrong? But managers are paid to make these decisions. You know, if he makes a decision, if he doesn't make the decision and they go on to lose it, then he really will have been proved to have been wrong.
That's why they get £1 million a year plus, yeah. Toure. It's been very comfortable for Rio Ferdinand and Mikhail Silvestre.
Now Reyes is just occupying a position near a Bert. Now he's just trotting back over to the right here. So maybe it's just because the game set him there.
Ronaldo's done all his work down the left, and some of it's been threatening to Arsenal's hopes here. He scored late in the first half against Millwall a year ago.
They might have changed it, Martin Arsene Wenger, already, because Reyes now is playing far closer to Bergkamp, just offside again, Ruud van Nistelrooy, far closer to Bergkamp than he has been. And if that stays, then that's the measure of the disappointment that nothing's happened at that end of the pitch for him. But we'll see if he stays there.
Fabregas is still working through the centre. There's no one gone wide on the right-hand side. Bergkamp to a runner through the middle from midfield. It was Patrick Vieira. Carroll slid it out to Ronaldo, who was certainly up to the task. O'Shea.
I think what they're trying to do is Gilberto's the one who I think is playing rightish of the four at the moment. I would think that might be the happier dugout, the happier bench. I would guess Arsenal's nil. Yeah, thought it might have been.
Manchester United 2 from Wayne Rooney in his first final. And that's not counting the FA Youth Cup final, of course, where he was a loser with Everton to Aston Villa 3 years ago now. Only just ineligible to play in the FA Youth Cup finals of this season.
It's a bit like two heavyweights that line up together and they say, OK, let's feel your best punches in the early rounds, and who grows in confidence on that, who feels that, well, we can cope with this, can they cope with us? And that's what happens in big heavyweight contests like this.
It's a lovely ball from Silvestre to Van Nistelrooy.
Reyes has just trotted down now, he's now opposite John O'Shea, so maybe that the game just found him up there beside Bergkamp.
Keane finding Van Nistelrooy's feet. It's a lovely turn.
Oh, Scholes was arriving as well. One of those late runs. I think he's every right to take the shot on, because that's the kind of player he is, and he's worked the opening for himself. It's there to be hit, he just scuffs it.
Toure.
Yeah, Reyes has been shifting that, definitely.
And Gilberto is playing outside of Fabregas. He's another one who wouldn't want to occupy that position. It's been the first half of a sparring nature, and Henry's cutting edge missed by Arsenal and also missed by viewers all around the world.
We just wondered, Dennis Bergkamp, how long? 35 years of age. Big final. Sapping conditions.
Rooney. Fell heavily before kick-off was eased during the first half, and was in the Arsenal dressing room. They brought all the injured players down to Cardiff. Vieira. Now Pires. Bergkamp. Really have to hit the pass on this wet pitch. A couple there that fell short. Bergkamp was waiting for it, and his attempt to keep the move going was understruck.
The coaches with work to do at half-time.
Rooney. Just the game moves into a different dimension when he gets on the ball, and he's got a free kick here. Rob Starr's properly waited to see whether there was anything in it for Scholes.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue with that. They better get it quick. I'll tell you what, not only is he skillful, Rooney, but he's as strong as an ox. I mean, this first part of this was brilliant. Quick feet, ability, control. Then when you think he's lost it, watch this. And you go, wins the tackle, up again. Well, he waited, but this is obviously the last hit of the first half, that's for sure.
Well, if you've got a gut feeling, let Rooney hit it. Scholes is having a look at it. Ronaldo's there as well.
No left footer, like Giggs.
In added time before half-time. At the end of a very tight first period. The player who makes things happen is having a look at it, Wayne Rooney. Takes it. Sometimes well, stealth is one option, but he hits the ball so hard with all that power. It was his shot that was knocked away by Lehmann's foot. A splendid save. Rio Ferdinand thought for a fraction of a second he'd got his first Manchester United goal in an FA Cup final. But Lehmann then made another save from Rooney just after that. And Manchester United had looked the more dangerous team in this first 45 minutes, in which Arsenal have looked at odds with the system the manager has asked them to play. At half-time, though, 0-0. Still gets a medal, of course, even if he doesn't, because he's on the Manchester United bench. And maybe we need a Giggs or a Van Persie to unhinge the current padlock situation. Still Bergkamp with Reyes alongside him to set the ball rolling for Arsenal at the start of the second half. But I think, Andy, we need to keep reminding ourselves what's at stake here. These are two famous clubs with no silverware this season.
Absolutely, I think that's part and parcel of the reason that we saw a tight, edgy start to the game in many ways.
So off we go for the second half. There hasn't been extra time in an FA Cup final since 1993, when Arsenal were involved. And it actually went to a replay against their opponents then, Sheffield Wednesday. No replays these days.
We've kicked off and I thought that Arsenal had changed, but look at that. What do we see Reyes at the beginning of the second half? Almost chalking his boots.
And not the ball at his boots because it skipped away from him. O'Shea. Ronaldo had some excellent moments in a first half which was mostly dominated by defenders. Reyes, Bergkamp, Fabregas. Cole's made a good run ahead of Pires. He was well aware of him, but he couldn't squeeze the ball beyond Brown. And Nistelrooy took that very well from Rooney. He thinks about attacking every time he gets the ball, and the game could do with maybe one or two more players with that attitude. Senderos. Patience can be the name of the game. Certainly there's been plenty of that so far. Vieira. Pires.
he's looking up now. This is where Senderos looks up. Nothing on. But they will pass it. Both teams will do this.
It's a risky ball from Vieira because we've seen on several occasions the passes hold up on this well-grassed surface. Ronaldo nearly nicked it from Lauren. Pires, Bergkamp.
And the only thing I would say at the beginning of the second half, you just feel that Arsenal have got to play better as an attacking force. I don't think Arsene Wenger will have accepted that from his team at half-time. Not a shot on goal, no real threat, apart from the Reyes when he got through early, wide. It's got to be better than that.
Ronaldo certainly got to it ahead of Lauren that time, and that's been one of the themes, one of the more positive themes from the game so far.
They've been quite disciplined in that respect, Manchester United. They haven't allowed Ronaldo and Rooney to swap sides at any time in the match. Normally when those two play in these areas, they do tend to swap over. But I do think that's because of who they're playing against. They obviously fancy Ronaldo against Lauren, and they like the fact that Rooney might just do a bit better defensively against Ashley Cole.
Cole, of course, is carrying a yellow card from the first half, and he's got to be careful in his defending. Rooney tries to brush him aside. Cole wins that very cleanly, and with his weaker foot too. Look how deep Bergkamp had to come, and the ball didn't stick with him. Rooney, still Wayne Rooney for Manchester United. It looped up off Senderos, who moved out in the nick of time.
Well, you can just see, not the fear, maybe a little bit of panic when he picks up the ball in those areas from Arsenal defenders. He worked that position so well and so easily.
Hit really from Cristiano Ronaldo. It's all back for Arsenal. Fletcher. Ronaldo embarrassing Lauren again. One on for Ferdinand. Shows he can play from the wide position. It's wonderful work from the central defender. They need to cover for him at the back, but only momentarily, because again Arsenal really can't get going forward.
I know it's a daft question, he's on the bench, but how fit's Freddie Ljungberg, Mark?
Well, fit enough to feel that he was available to start the game if selected. He came off in the semi-final, you remember, Andy?
Yeah, but that might have been my change, looking at it. Might have to sacrifice Fabregas and get Freddie Ljungberg on that right side and go back to something, you know, get Reyes at the top end of the pitch, drop Bergkamp down a bit. Still give them 5 when they needed it defensively, but play Bergkamp off the front.
Brown, Fletcher. That's towards the end of the first half. Manchester United looking the more likely side. Scholes. And here's Cole. There's nowhere really to go. He's got to go on, and it's a good piece of keeping the ball by Reyes.
But Dennis is never going to catch that, is he? Never going to catch a ball like that. I think they have 2 viable options. Ljungberg and Van Persie. And change the system. Go back to what you know. Go back to what you've been great at.
Manchester United know their formula. Van Nistelrooy. There's a ball that, at his very sharpest, he would have taken and turned and may well have scored from, and he knows it.
Yeah, skipped away from him a little in defence, but you still expect him to get hold of it.
Ronaldo. O'Shea. Comes out to Fletcher. Rooney. He's forced Fletcher a little bit wide, but Brown's there to help him. Keane. Into Van Nistelrooy. It does stick with him this time. Roy Keane goes on again. And a good defending at the near post by Toure.
Super football. I tell you, the pressure's growing. Arsenal just cannot, in the first 5 minutes of the second half, get out. But what good defending. That's a classic one. Toure comes from nowhere. You watch him. He sees where the danger is, and he suddenly thinks, I have got to deal with this. And he gets across and does his job.
The Manchester United fans mostly behind the goal that United are attacking here. Scholes fires across the corner. Keane will get to it. He's He's got Rooney there to help him if he wants. And deeper, he's got O'Shea. Ray is chasing across, but it is all chasing for Arsenal at the moment. Manchester United have got the bit between their teeth. And they get a goal to show for it. Always seem to be veering wide from Cristiano Ronaldo.
Well, that's a poor shot that nearly turns into a great cross. That's about all you could say about that. And I think there's no real pressure on the ball. Lauren's got 2v1 against him. He's never really threatening the goal. You see it cuts across the ball and it starts to move left to right just about as soon as he hits it, and it's well wide of the target. But Arsenal have got some answers to find.
Brown.
You watch the odd performance occasionally from Arsenal, it's a bit like this. But they've always got in the locker a move somewhere. And that would be what Alex Ferguson will be sitting there saying now. As long as that doesn't happen and his team are disciplined and switched on, he must be thinking, well, it's not when, but if.
Cole miscalculated, Rooney's behind him. Big problems for Arsenal here. Comes out to Fletcher. The young Scot. Turns away from Vieira, the great Frenchman. Ronaldo's in there. Toure needs to tidy up, and Arsenal on the back foot again, and Manchester United feel they're on the move.
Well, Pat Rice off the bench there, very anxious that the way things are going. They must be on the Arsenal bench. Now the coach joins him.
Pat Rice played in that 1979 final. The only time the two clubs have met in the climax to this great competition. And Arsenal were 2-0 up, and he's gone out. And then there were 3 goals in the last 4 minutes, 2 to equalise and a winner for Arsenal. The first real sign of animosity between the players.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure why. But Lauren reacted to something. He's a bit spiky, Lauren.
Well, the Arsenal fans, conversely to Manchester United, of course, at the other end, the north end of the stadium, they'd like to see a little bit of their team in closer proximity to them.
They'd like to see a little bit of their team on the ball, wouldn't they? Almost 10 minutes, it's just been Manchester United possession, Manchester United pressure.
It's hurried a bit by Silvestre. And Pires just ported the drop of the ball a bit better than Fletcher. Down trying to help him out. Whistle has gone, and it's gone in Arsenal's favour.
Now Rio Ferdinand's having the right whack at Darren Fletcher, because when that ball dropped in between Pires and him, Fletcher's just got to go and head the thing. And if he doesn't, then he'll get a free kick, because Pires' leg's way up. Now Manchester United have to defend a corner. This is what I mean, they've dominated the game. Sir Alex Ferguson will be furious if this gets nicked in. Finds an Arsenal head. All the good work undone.
The winners here in 2002 and 2003. Dennis Bergkamp will remember that. And losing to Liverpool in 2001 in the Cardiff Cup finals. Bergkamp takes. Ferdinand is there for Manchester United. Ronaldo's touch is short. Very short.
Yeah, it's very good. I tell you, Lauren, he's a lucky boy that Ronaldo's so good in respect to skipping away from tackles, because he's a right swipe at Ronaldo here. I think that's what Rio Ferdinand's saying to him. No chance as he goes past him. And he catches him, that's a booking. Flag went up immediately. He launched at it.
It was a legacy of what happened at the other end of the pitch.
Yeah, but nothing happened, did it?
Well, probably Ronaldo said something and Lauren lost his cool, and Arsene Wenger will know that his team's a bit vulnerable to that sort of thing. They need to keep calm here, because the match is at times going on around the Arsenal players.
I'm not so sure what he's upset about there. I think the referee's done him a favour bringing the game back, because he'd skipped past Lauren, he'd skipped past Senderos, he was on his way, and he brought the game back.
That's Brown on Pires, and There is a more physical element just creeping into the game now.
I'd have to call it physical, that, but I know what you mean. But I think a lot of that's to do with Arsenal, because they are obviously unhappy at the way they're playing. They know they're second best at the moment.
Lauren giving Ronaldo a taste of his own medicine, which is a difficult thing to do. Here's Fabregas running free. A little bit more openness to the play in this Arsenal attack. They'll be grateful for that. Oh, and Cole really spoils a chance to make an opportunity against Manchester United here.
The best move that they've probably made in the match, let alone the second half. Super football from right to left, starting with the right back, ending with the left back in the edge of the 18-yard box. The super football. That's unlike him. Unlike him.
Well, the British Lions are in Cardiff. They have a match here against Argentina. And Wilkinson is now part of that group. Cole. Vieira was just sliding into Brown as the ball was released. Wayne Rooney just having a little word with the referee, as he tends to do.
Yeah, it's a free kick. Patrick Vieira's nowhere near the ball. I don't know what, honestly, I mean, I don't know what Arsene Wenger thinks. That's not a free kick, but it is.
And it's taken by Brown, and Lehmann's interested in it. He makes it his.
Well.
Who his place and future is a little bit under threat, if you believe the rumour mill. Arsenal are looking to strengthen their squad in the goalkeeping department.
His handling's been great today. Taking a couple of real towering crosses like that, as clean as you like.
Never raise his ball. I was just waiting for him to pull out, but he didn't. John O'Shea gets his free kick.
Well, your worry would be for Alex Ferguson, Manchester United. They've had the best of this game for the best part of an hour. They've had opportunities, they haven't taken them. And we always talk in football about getting a goal when you're on top. I just don't believe that Arsenal are not going to have some of this game at some time in the day. Well, it's huge, it's double almost the possession that Manchester United have at the moment. So he does like that ball, doesn't he? He plays it beautifully.
And Rooney controls it beautifully. Whereas his tackle was a bit half-hearted, but he realised that and got back. And he's lost out to Rooney again. Brown. Nicely worked by Manchester United. Good angle for the cross. Keen to crack one. He was so desperate to have a go, he mishit it. His eyes really lit up, Roy Keane, as the ball rolled out to him.
Well, we've got a chance here.
And it bisected, Perez's ball bisected Fabregas and Vieira. Two midfield players caught well forward. Arsenal exposed by Manchester United's counter-attack. And Rooney's cross. Van Nistelrooy!
Oh, it's just behind him. I wonder whether Wayne Rooney thought ever of driving in a little bit himself. He's probably just a little wide here. But I think he looks up early and he sees he's got good support. Yeah, he's just driven a little wide. It's been a pretty good finish. They've dragged it from way back there onto target.
But some of the shackles of the first half have come off.
Yeah, absolutely. It's opened up a little. I think because Manchester United have become a little more adventurous. I think they feel that they are the better team at the moment.
Scholes, terrific tackle, doesn't always get them right, got that one right, but it's running behind him to Reyes. He's got Vieira to his right, Bergkamp just pulling away to the left, and Ferdinand going with him. Reyes again. Dealt with by Silvestre and Fletcher. And the best of this 2005 FA Cup final is sure to come in the last half an hour, maybe beyond, because spaces are now starting to appear and the attackers are beginning to give defenders more and more problems.
He'll get booked now. There you go. Absolute cast iron certainty. Spent about 3 minutes talking to him the other end of the pitch. Nowhere near the tackle. Nowhere near the ball. your message now, get it to him. Ronaldo, that is, as often as possible. This guy's shaking a little.
Well, both fullbacks are booked now, so they can go wide and really drive at Arsenal in those areas.
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest difference in the match in the two teams has been the wide areas. If you look at Ronaldo and Rooney, contributed hugely to Manchester United. But then think of Perez and Reyes. Can we think of much?
Very little.
It's been a major difference in the two sides.
Coming from Key. A shot from Ronaldo!
Good effort. Good effort. Whip, pace. You just can't get it down that final, couple of feet.
Well, Andy, I don't know what the Glazer family are making of a game, and the USA 0-0s don't go down too well, but I think if he knows anything at all about professional sport, he'll realise that he's brought into the talent of Wayne Rooney and Cristiano Ronaldo, and that would look a pretty good investment.
Oh, yes.
They could be the Buccaneers for his English investment.
That's a change I talked about. I think, to me, that had to come now. We will see when the change is made whether that is the system change or not.
Fabregas. Arsenal just a little fortunate to be level pegging with just over the hour gone. There's been more menace in the attacking play of Manchester United. And the Gunners are a bit short of ammunition to this point. Gilberto. Senderos. Vieira. Reyes still coming from the right-hand side. Tumbling by John O'Shea. John O'Shaven.
Yeah, just wrong footed tackling with you. Just a clumsy challenge. But every time you give a free kick away, you're playing against a side who you've been on top of. You just know one delivery, one meeting it right. And that's Manchester United's biggest threat at the moment. Lack of concentration when they get caught.
Plenty in black. Lining up to deal with it. Drop for Perez, who was unattended. And we can reflect on a rare shooting opportunity, but again, Arsenal not hitting the target.
No, I think this is a decent chance for Robert Perez. He's certainly got the ability. They don't get it out the box far enough, but he had a lot of shots in front of him to get past. We talked about the change. We said Bergkamp maybe an hour, 65 minutes. I'm not surprised that that change has been made. But Freddie's going to come on. Reyes go up top. Does that suggest a change in system? Not really. Not really.
So Freddie Ljungberg,
no, he's coming over to have a word.
Has some Cardiff credentials. Scored in 2 finals. And there aren't too many people in the history of this great competition who have scored in 3.
Well, I wonder if he just said to Fabregas, you're the one to get forward, get support quickly to Reyes.
I wonder if there's still a possibility. We may just have seen the back of Dennis Bergkamp. His meeting with Arsene Wenger will take place early next week. Van Nistelrooy, near post. From a Ronaldo cross that challenged Arsenal again. Rooney. Fletcher. Van Nistelrooy going in. And Lauren around him. When the ball was in the air, it did look as though it might be an opportunity for the main man up front for Manchester United.
The attempts are growing. So many on target, as you'd expect. Only 3 out of 14 in total. That was another half a chance for Manchester United, and there's another raking ball from Sylvester.
Rooney! Oh, he's turned it onto the post. He was nearly caught out, Lehmann. And then it's fired wide on the follow-up by Fletcher.
Oh, what a football brain this young kid's got. At such tender years. Top draw stuff. That is a superb ball. It's only one of a clutch of them that he's played all game. Oh, he just gets a touch, Lehman. Just. I can remember at Wembley, Peter Beardsley doing something like that for England in a game. Faintest of touches, because it's in. It's definitely in. But they're getting closer. And Arsenal know. They played in a game here when you and I commentated in 2001, when for 80 minutes they absolutely paralysed Liverpool and ended up losing
Manchester United again with Ronaldo, and it's just come between Lehman and Van Nistelrooy.
You just wonder. You just wonder. Lovely ball in. Can't get there, it's as simple as that. You just can't get there, Ruud Van Nistelrooy.
Well, 1 minute he's diving back, 1 minute he's diving out, Jens Lehmann. While Roy Carroll's watching from the other end.
Well, Arsenal's big players have got to stand up and be counted now. I'm talking about the man on the ball. The skipper's got to lead by example. Talking about Gilberto, got to stem it. Freddie Ljungberg now on. Reyes, a big money signing for games like this. Robert Perez, Ashley Cole. These are the players that have got to stand up now and turn this game round. Find something.
Perez. Reyes. Here's Ljungberg. Gilberto. Now Cole. Ljungberg. Reyes. Arsenal have got more players forward here. And now Van Nistelrooy. Brown. Vieira. Certainly got a good piece of the ball.
Yeah, it was a good tackle.
That was Fletcher who was a little bit high.
When they're talking to, yes. No more than that. Just pulls out of it in time. It's the ball sat up. Have they got a chance in them, Arsenal? I mean, it hasn't looked like it. 70 minutes. But you just feel, I keep saying it, repeating myself, I know, you just feel at some time in the game they're going to put a move together.
Ljungberg on to try and help that happen. Gilberto. That's a cleverly carved pass. Gilberto. Challenged by Silvestre. Rob Stiles spreads his arms to say, it's okay with me, play on. A spell of possession for Arsenal here. And far too few of those occasions from their perspective. Vieira. Scholes. And the ball was kept in by O'Shea. Ronaldo is running his troubled Arsenal really right from the off. He's earned another free kick, certainly within shooting range.
Yeah, I think he's a little unlucky, Kolo Toure. He goes to ground very easily here. He's almost going down as he goes past Toure. It's a generous decision.
thwarted by Jens Lehmann twice in the first half, and just a few minutes ago with that inspired low shot from wide on the right.
Well, the only surprise for me at the moment is that Ronaldo, with a fantastic effort, 10 minutes ago, he showed no interest in this.
And Rooney wants it. Rooney wants the FA Cup. And here's his chance to steer Manchester United towards it. And well, again, he's worked the goalkeeper.
Yeah, who once again his handling is exemplary. Bouncing ball coming towards him. Never looked like spilling it.
Cole. Strong appeals for ball against Ashley Cole, but United quickly got the ball back, which has been pretty much the story of the afternoon. A story that is still nowhere near a conclusion, though. Extra time and penalties are the option.
Oh, it's unlucky, John O'Shea. Would have managed to feed that in front of Ronaldo. He was away.
There's such a difference, really, in basic personality between Sir Alex Ferguson and Arsene Wenger, but, you know, they do share this desperate desire to win football matches. It drives them on. Arsene Wenger now a long servant of Arsenal, but what Alex Ferguson has done for Manchester United, I can't believe will ever be repeated at a football club at the top level. And this is interesting. Quinton Fortune, if he gets into the fray, he's been the man who's always missed out when Manchester United have been getting trophies in the past. No Premiership medals for him. Playing the FA Cup final last season. Maybe it will be his day. Vieira, Ljungberg, Reyes, back to Freddie Ljungberg. Great play from Arsenal. Ashley Cole was saying just roll it back to the left back.
Weight of numbers, really. That's the only thing that squeezed out Freddie Ljungberg. But that's what I'm talking about. They'll put a move together, Arsenal, but just too many black shirts around. It's a more even game now for the first time in the second half.
Here's Cole. Vieira flew up off Fletcher. Had to be run by Ferdinand, and he won it. And it was played against the head of Cole. He knew nothing about that. Goal kick.
It's an interesting one. Quick Fortune ready to come on. For who?
A left-sided player, and not Ryan Giggs.
Yeah, this suggests.
But he doesn't need Giggs, does he? He's got Ronaldo and Rooney going strong.
Yeah, he has. Right to him. And that might just be. I know John O'Shea think about it, but I think defensively at times, I don't think he's the best. A bit to learn. And the threat of Ljungberg in the game now.
Oh, and Lauren committed himself, and Ronaldo's away behind him. He's taking on Toure. Vieira's length of leg to stop Scholes getting on the ball for United. Reyes found it hard going. And a run on here with Silvestre. They're both quick.
Oh dear, dear, dear. No need for Reyes. What is he thinking about? Absolutely unnecessary tackle. I mean, unnecessary. I think it's a little payback time for maybe what he felt he got dished out at Old Trafford early in the season, but he's way behind the ball. He's never going to get there. He's only going to get a yellow card. Simple as that. And he did.
It's a firebrand moment, which he might live to regret. What could I do, says Rob Styles.
Now, it's John O'Shea. And that just might be that they've had one or two little movements down the right-hand side, Arsenal, in the last 10 or 15 minutes. Plus the fact we don't know if he's still carrying a knock. He's down there a little earlier. Might be a combination of both.
Well, the great matchup is still goalless. Manchester United looking to retain, Arsenal to regain. Van Nistelrooy. Fletcher. Excellent ball again. Mikhail Silvestre, and Arsenal just aren't dealing with it. Rooney's being fed. But the sort of passes that get him into a position where he's really challenging Arsenal. It's gone against him this time, but about getting the trajectory absolutely right. Mikhail Silvestre's your man.
Time and time again, he's found him. Another referee in the frame there. No smile.
I think he's just had a tint in his hair, but it is a smile.
It's the sun doing that.
He was the referee, of course, when England went out of Euro 2004. Of course, on Sky Sports 1 on Wednesday, Milan against Liverpool, the UEFA Champions League final from Istanbul. Everything you need to know about the game from 6, and then the game itself. Here's Rooney, who knows so much about the game at such a young age.
You know, players go into him, Senderos is pleading he's innocent, don't worry, it wasn't you, mate. But Gilberto's the one who commits the free kick. He thinks he's going to win the ball as he comes in here, but Rooney just gets away from him. That's the free kick, not that. Now we're approaching I would always call in a cup final the nervous 80s. You know, you can see the goal in that time.
Edgy 80s.
The nervous 80s. You can see the goal then, and you really are up against it, and we're fast approaching it.
That's the way this game's gone. One goal here. The odds would be on being the winning goal. It's Cristiano Ronaldo. It's near, but nowhere near enough.
I tell you what, they get West Brown in a brilliant position, just right at the wall. I just don't know why occasionally teams just don't slide it in there, just let it come from a different angle. But it's settled now. There was a really good spell for Manchester United. They had a 20-25-minute spell beginning of this second half where they really turned it on and turned it up. And Arsenal have hung on somehow. A little bit of good fortune.
And they're getting their semi-final hero ready, Robin van Persie, for another late entrance to the Millennium Stadium.
Well, it might be a late entry, but he might have a bit to play. Be here for a while.
Fabregas, Ljungberg trying the trick against Fortune, who is equal to it. Here goes Ronaldo. The men in black on the move again. Fortune. Drops for Ronaldo. Consistent work by Lauren, and it was risky work too. And this time's another tackle. He could be only the second player in FA Cup final history to be sent off 20 years ago. And he remembers it well. He was on the pitch at the time, Kevin Moran of Manchester United against Everton.
And he's done well to get a free kick there, Reyes. You know where he is there, stood, what is he, halfway in his own half. He was the furthest Arsenal player up the pitch.
But you know, if Arsenal steal a winner here, Arsene Wenger can say, I got the tactics right, we kept Manchester United out, which we haven't been doing in the Premiership games, playing a more gung-ho, more of a sense of adventure. And we haven't really looked like getting that one goal.
Well, they said in an interview before the game that he would pick his team, and not worry about Manchester United. I don't think he's done that today. That's what his team do, he said, and not worry about Manchester United.
Mistake by Senderos. And Rooney reacting quickly to the pass that came from it. He might still get there first, Wayne Rooney. He's barreled into a challenge and been penalised for it. And Gilberto.
Almost broke through. I think he's got a right to do that, you know.
He seemed to be in front with the leg, didn't he?
I don't know. I think Gilberto was always leaning into Rooney rather than the other way around, but edge of the box, defending side normally gets the advantage.
If a defender had done that on Rooney in the penalty area, would it have been a penalty? Probably not. No. Senderos, but knock it long and means give it away, really, for Arsenal. Van Persie still waits. Ferdinand. Sylvestre. Happy to clear it long. The flag's gone up for offside. And Nistelrooy coming from a more advanced position towards the ball.
Well, they're taking the time with Van Persie. He seems to have been stood there for quite a while now. Ready to go.
Vieira. Now Gilberto. Pires. Ball again, trying to inject some pace into Arsenal's move, but is running off the ball. Vieira to Ljungberg. Barnes on the outside. Back to Vieira again. It's never really been the Arsenal way when they're in the groove, in the zone. The passes are slick, the touches are assured. But they know that in so many aspects of this game they have been second best, but they're not on the scoreline. That's what matters at this late stage in 90 minutes in Cardiff. Gilberto. Vieira, in the end, they went for a difficult pass. It didn't get through. And able to defend not once but twice.
What odds would you have got, Mr. Tyler? On 84 minutes into the game, Roy Carroll would not have made a save. Big, I think.
Ronaldo. Analogy. He's not been a phantom menace, has he? He's been out there right from the start, Cristiano Ronaldo. Scholes. Is this the time here for Manchester United? And Lehmann doesn't get there. Rooney wants it. Keane has it. Roy Keane goes for glory. And Patrick Vieira. Keane and Vieira.
Would you believe the two of them? Both skippers, both had so much talked and written about them this week. Takes an awful long time, Roy Keane, to set himself. You know, there was Ashley Cole behind him, or Colo Toure might have blocked it. And it's another stat that Manchester United are dominating, but the one that really matters, top left-hand corner, is not changing.
But here is a chance for them to change it. Oh, and Ferdinand's going towards this. Everyone's missed it. Van Nistelrooy onto the bar. Freddie Ljungberg guarding the line. Scholes, goal kick, and
you can't believe it. And I can't believe it. I can't believe it's bounced there. Two instinctive headers. One from the front man, one from the guy in the post. And if ever anyone argues about putting two on the post, there's why you do it. Because if you don't, you lose the cup final.
Famed for scoring in cup finals. He just saved a cup final here for Arsenal, at least for the time being.
It's a beautifully fighted ball. He's away, he's half away when he heads it, Van Nistelrooy. Thinks it's in.
Fabregas off. Van Persie on.
Well, you just feel sure now, for the first time in the match, that... Or is it? Wait a minute. I just wonder if now Reyes is trotting over to the left. So there's a change of personnel, but Arsene Wenger, no, a change in system. Perez has been bullied into the middle from his boss. He's going to play infield.
Well, they're uncertain, Arsenal again. It's chopping and changing here. That's most unlike Arsene Wenger. force is still with Manchester United. And Rooney runs into a Senderos tackle. And it's Reyes. And Percy trying to run in behind. He's been given offside.
Well, there are so many things that have happened in this game that suggest Manchester United are going to win this because they've been dominant in everything. But that's not what cup finals are about.
Rooney trying to stay on his feet. That's a decision. He's got one in the shape of a corner.
The 1-0 to the Arsenal. There's a ring about it, isn't it? Almost gets in here. Ashley Cole just quick enough to get back, concede the corner.
Scholes clips it in. Fortune. Keane. Fortune cropping up again on the outside. Van Nistelrooy. Good strength. Oh, and it's ricocheted. Too many Arsenal players in there for a moment. They've just about dealt with it. Vieira hasn't been able to get into any sort of midfield domination in this game. But it's Pires. With the 90 minutes ebbing away. So often either Pires or Ljungberg has come up with a match-winning moment from midfield.
Well, they'll want extra time, Arsenal. And what they have got now, they've got two genuine players of pace up top for them. They've got Van Persie. This is the argument here. Goes at a corner. It's a tough one to judge. Even from there, that's the linesman's view of it. He gave goal kick.
Fletcher. We're in the 90th minute at Cardiff.
Well, he asked a lot of Gilberto, who didn't really want the ball fed into him there.
He's been asked a lot of Reyes, and somehow Arsenal managed to keep it. And they get a free kick. How much stoppage time before extra time? It's not been a game of fits and starts with injuries. Toure. Lauren. Pat Rice on his feet from the Arsenal bench, urging his team to go forward.
Well, why not? Goal now, you're a cup winners. Cole.
Gilberto. Well, that's the answer. 3 minutes. Kolo Toure. Roy Carroll probably grateful to get the feel of the ball. Fletcher. Rooney, who has hit a post by the goalkeeper's fingertips in the second half. Ronaldo. Arsenal thought it was out. At least Lauren did. Ronaldo a little bit down a cul-de-sac at the end, and Paul Scholes has given him a bit of an air bashing for that. Keane's on the scene. Scholes is there. Rooney is there. Is the cup for Manchester United? No. It was a pass on to Van Nistelrooy.
Wide of him. Well, he normally sees everything. Not going to get the best look at it maybe from this angle, but look at Van Nistelrooy. He peels off Ashley Cole. He's in a great position if he's just slid the ball. Not to be.
Barnsley against West Bromwich Albion. The last goal was drawn 1912.
What? Was it really?
Yeah.
1912. Manchester United fans and Alex Ferguson and his players will wonder how on earth this is still 0-0.
Fletcher. Pires. A minute or so to go before extra time in an FA Cup final for the first time since 1993, involving Arsenal there. Ronaldo, everyone's had a chase at him. Vieira this time. It's still Cristiano Ronaldo. There's a bit of an arm out then, but the free kick has gone against Vieira, and another opportunity for Manchester United late on is looming large.
That's a booking. That's a booking. You know, Ronaldo's gone past him. He's struggling, Patrick Vieira. He holds him back. Sorry, it's a booking. He's got away with that, the Arsenal skipper. It's as good a booking as you've seen today. I don't know, he's running on Ronaldo, but he's made so many of those runs. And I'm not talking about 15, 20 yards. I'm talking about 40, 50, 60 yards at times.
He's running on the youth.
Yeah, you're right. I forget.
You forget. Fortune takes it. Van Nistelrooy. Almost to Rooney again. Comes out to Brown. Ferdinand had that goal disallowed in the first half. Brown crosses, parried by Cole, shinned away by Cole. That's how desperate it's been for Arsenal for much of the 93 minutes of regulation time. Rob Stiles is about to send us into 15 minutes each way. That's how close it is. But Brown, there's still time. And there's Ronaldo!
Oh, take it in your chest. Take it in your chest. Just down it. Knock it down in front of you.
Extra time at Cardiff. Manchester United will be just drawing breath here, wondering quite how they haven't hung on to the FA Cup. They've been the dominant force. Rooney has been constantly menacing, but we go to extra time after this short break.
Well, back we come to our studios, and Craig Foster and Jesper Olsen. A quick chat here about what's happened and what's about to happen. It's been a terrific final so far, Jesper. Arsenal still under the hammer, but very much still in the game.
Well, it's still 0-0, obviously. Yeah, they are. They're hanging on. I thought United were superb in the second half, and I don't know where the 45 minutes went. You know, it was one-end stuff, really. But Arsenal still got a chance, and now it's all to be done in the extra time, and who knows what's going to happen. So, but I think in the first half it's been it was mostly United as well. Second half, Wayne Rooney and Cristiano Ronaldo has just been outstanding, I think.
They have, and they've been unlucky too, haven't they, with their finishing? Craig?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, it's not very often you can see Arsenal under so much pressure, all hands to the wheel for 45 or 46, 47 minutes of a football match. They absolutely got battered in that second half. It was a brilliant performance by United. Some sparkling football. Jesper was talking about the wide play. Look at the lack of wide play from both Pires and Ljungberg for Arsenal. They never got in behind Man United. They never switched the ball once out. A Sylvester, time and time again on his left peg, straight out to Rooney. Beautiful 40, 50-yard balls. And Rooney's just such a handful. Every time he's getting the ball, he's creating something. One off the post. Lehmann had a couple of brain hemorrhages and came out once and didn't come out another time. How they haven't scored a goal is just beyond me. It's been one of the more memorable FA Cup finals for many years.
It's a terrific commentary on football, capable of dishing up this kind of excitement for 90 minutes without actually producing a goal. Let's go back to Damo and see what the fans thought of that. We've still got time for that. We'll keep an eye on the highlights and the pictures for you. Damo?
Les, well, we've been seeking medical assistance here at this point. Some bitten fingernails, but you got to say, with Man U having all the game really in the second half and still not the goal, if it goes the way that most of the big games are gone this year, Arsenal's going to get it in extra time. And I just think that Edu might have a role to play in this somehow.
He might come on. Now, what do you think about that, guys? Edu? To come on, Jesper?
Yeah, he could come on. He's not had a great season, and sometimes that is the scenario that somebody that hasn't had a great season can come up and actually finish off the season being the match winner. But still, I think United must have so much belief of what they've done already in the game that if they can continue what they've done so far, I think they have a great chance of still winning it.
Craig, they've got Well, not much. They've got Aladier still on the bench, the Gunners. Campbell to reinforce the defence if they need to. I mean, the changes have been quite economical so far, really only 3. So I dare say that both coaches or managers were waiting for the extra time in case they need some of these guys.
Yeah, well, as we said at half-time, often what a manager will do, yes, but when they say at half-time, look, I'm going to take you off. You know, you've not shown me anything in the first half. You've got 15 minutes in the second. Otherwise, you're off and Ljungberg's coming on. And then he'll give someone a chance to try and, you know, change the match or change their play in the first bit of the second half. It didn't happen. Ljungberg had to come on because the right-hand side for Arsenal was completely non-existent. Lauren was slow to get forward, as he often is. And there's no one in front of him there, whereas at least Perez on the left was, you know, capable of going at people, getting in behind. Didn't happen in the second half, though. Brought Ljungberg on. Van Persie come on with only 5 minutes to go. He's done that a few times, Wenger. You know, often he leaves it so late.
You can do. There's not much you can do at that time. And Arsenal have really struggled. They're such a good passing side, but today it's not really happening for them.
But I wonder if that's a pointer to something. Ryan Giggs looks like he might be starting extra time, and I'm just wondering what that means, because the guys, so there you go, Fletcher's the man to to go off. So Giggs on. Jesper, your comment on that?
I think that Ferguson is actually thinking with Ronaldo and with Wayne Rooney and Ryan Giggs going at them, I think that something will open up when they will get a goal, because I think Fletcher has had an outstanding game so far, but I think Ferguson thinks let's have a go at them again.
So the problem's obviously not in the middle for Man U. Saha is available, Smith is available.
I think, yes, we got it spot on, you know, which is fair enough, and that is that they've pressed them in wide areas, they've gone at them. Cristiano Ronaldo's just had, I mean, when you look at the age of this kid, and also Wayne Rooney, 2 of the best young players in Europe, if not the world, both super footballers, and they have absolutely destroyed what is a tremendous side in Arsenal for 45 minutes. So
OK, thank you, Craig, about to get underway in extra time in the Cup final. Let's go back to Martin Tyler.
Roy Keane, the match that we referred to earlier when he got injured and went off. It was an early goal.
Just looking at where Ryan Giggs is lined up, he's lined up in an inside position, inside Ronaldo. So he's going to be one of the 3 central midfield players.
Giggs for Fletcher. Scholes for Giggs. How often have we said that down the years? We haven't said it before today.
Well, he's just found himself a great position within 10 seconds of coming on.
From Cardiff. Ryan Giggs lost his place today, lost a goal in midweek against Arsenal in February. It's gone down as an Ashley Cole own goal. Finally, the Premier League dubious goals panel ruled on that.
I think that's just about the worst throw I've ever seen. In the top end of the pitch. You'd have thought that was a defender throwing it back there.
So Van Persie, this was the end he was attacking when he scored those 2 brilliant goals against Blackburn.
Well, Niall Quinn talked about the change and maybe change of system, but it hasn't changed for them. In that respect, it's still going to be the one up top, and he's still going to have to get support. Well, you guess from certainly 4 midfield players, I would guess Gilbert would be the one to hold.
It's a cracking kick from Carroll, and more wonderful control from Rooney. Again, got to be careful, and it's bounced back against Wayne Rooney, and it's a goal kick. If anyone deserves to win this FA Cup final on performances today,
he's been up there.
He has been up there.
And he's done all his work from that right-hand side. And
why?
Well, because the manager and the coach have decided this is where United are playing. I just feel if you've got a Rooney like this playing centrally or more centrally from the start position, he won't play on right side. I mean, I'd be amazed if that ever happened.
Yeah, he's got Andy Johnson, hasn't he? Here's Roy Carroll. Lauren. Gilberto. Did you notice the teams prepared for extra time, Andy, any difference in maybe the fatigue levels?
Well, there were far more Arsenal players down, getting the legs shaking, trying to get some life into them, and that's because they've chased the ball. And we all know, we talk about it in football, it's a much more physically demanding game if you don't have the ball. And Arsenal have not had the ball for long spells in this game. But I don't think that means anything now. I think that Arsenal know they've gotten out of jail. Not a doubt about it. They know they've got an out of jail. Arsene Wenger should have been stressing that. You have a second chance, boys. Do not blow it. Show people what you can do and what you're made of.
Carroll's clearance. And it's just a case of presenting the ball back to Arsenal. One side proved to be the fresher in the extra 30 minutes here. They played a penalty shootout, of course, in a previous Community Shield, these two, which Manchester United won. Tim Howard, not Roy Carroll, was in goal for United that day. I believe it was his debut, as it was for Jens Lehmann for Arsenal. Keane. Sylvestre. Scholes. It's a little lull in the tempo in these early minutes. Ljungberg. Vieira. Side of Reyes, Pires, Ljungberg. Manchester United just holding off from the pass comes at Ashley Cole's a little too eager.
Yeah, just drifted ahead, got ahead. You know, sometimes extra time periods just sort of drift away. I don't think there's much of a chance of this one doing that.
Van Nistelrooy. This last piece of silverware for the season domestically is still up for grabs. Giggs. Sander Ross also has looked pretty comfortable in difficult circumstances and been preferred to Sol Campbell. Arsene Wenger knows he's for the present as well as for the future. Reyes. Help.
You see the arms go out there? Almost pleading for some support.
Ljungberg. Now Lauren. Arsenal's turn to have the ball for a sequence of play. Let's play through midfield. It's rarely been beyond that for them. It's not been the case for Manchester United, who really will be feeling that they should have retained the FA Cup in the 90 minutes with the power of their attacking play. Gilberto.
Plenty of possession, no penetration. This is it. They'll probe and probe and hope that somebody at the back from Manchester United switch off. Then they'll try and play the pass. It's possession that's going nowhere at the moment.
Look at the scoreline and think it's a match will be decided by a hair's breadth, but it hasn't been that sort of game. I mean, here Arsenal now have a free kick and a chance, at least to give Roy Carroll a problem or two.
Well, if he's fouled him, then he shouldn't have done. The only thing I can think of is got hold of him. And I see the arm around the chest there a little.
Marginal.
Yeah, it's generous, isn't it?
But it's a free kick to Arsenal, who by their standards have not been at the races. Manchester United's wall has to go back a few yards more.
I'll tell you, this is a good range. I mean, it's far enough out that you can get some power in it, and it's far enough up that by getting over the wall you can get it down again. But can Arsenal find a shot on target, and can the first one, the opening goal, that would be a story.
The responsibility rests with Robin van Persie. And Carroll was on the right side of the goal, but it was really the best attempt in anger from Arsenal Football Club, and it's waited until 7 minutes into the first period of extra time.
Well, that's a decent enough hit, but going that side of goal, We expect the goalkeeper to save it. Comfortable in the end.
And Arsenal chalk up a corner for the first time in extra time. Here's Laura to Gilberto. And told to chip it in, but Ferdinand's there. He had Sylvester in front of him. Giggs heads away. Held up for Scholes, who was a bit more tenacious in the tackle than Lauren. And now it's Keane and Gilberto, and it's Arsenal's throw.
Yeah, don't you have to win that? He gets that tackle wrong, and he's booked.
And it hasn't been a final of blood and thunder. It's been a carefully thought-out approach from both camps. And it's still looking for a decisive moment. Brown. And Rooney. Took it cleverly on the outside of the foot. He got that one wrong, the boy wonder. Incidentally, England will not have him for their tour of the United States. They agreed that he needs a rest. As much as 19-year-olds ever need a rest, I guess he could justify the demands on Wayne Rooney. A bit of time on a beach. I hope he gets it in privacy, but I doubt it. Toure.
You just look at Manchester United and you just wonder, has that effort taken a lot out of them? Because certainly haven't had the same zip since the start of this extra time.
Van Nistelrooy regaining it here, but Giggs will tend to just expect even the great players to slip into it when they come on as a substitute. It's never easy. Percy, pressed back by Manchester United, and the right foot not quite as good as the left. It's got a bit of a jar around the shoulder as well. Here's Scholes. Keane.
A few tired legs about. But the one thing that will cost the final might just be a tired mind.
Keane seeing a channel in which to release the ball and try and release Giggs. Ryan Giggs again. Van Nistelrooy hit to Cole, waved away again. An emphatic gesture from Rob Styles.
Ooh, that was close.
Giggs, there's a reflection on that. Toure was able to just reposition. Ronaldo missed it. Keane didn't. Van Nistelrooy's forced us off in front of Kolo Toure. Giggs. It's Wayne Rooney round the back. Rooney gets it down. And Cole gets the angle for his challenge and made sure that the angle for Rooney's shot was a difficult one, but he thought Rooney had handled in the first place.
Yeah, he got away with one. I think it was touch and go. This one it skips up. But he certainly wanted Rooney. It looked to here, from here, certainly as he just stretched the arm out a little to help control it.
3 minutes left in the first period of extra time, 0-0. Fortune. Brown. Leo Ferdinand stayed forward. Andy Linnigan, the last defender to score in an FA Cup final for Arsenal. Rooney comes out to Ferdinand again. Paul Scholes is there, beaten away by Lehmann. Oh, it could have run back in off Pires, but it's gone behind for a corner. And Lehmann again keeps Arsenal on level terms.
Big save. I think he's made two great saves at hugely important times in this game. Wonderful skill from Scholes, and again it's pure instinct from the Arsenal goalkeeper. Brilliant block.
Again, they line up on the edge of the area, Manchester United, for a Paul Scholes corner. In fact, Giggs has moved across from there to collect Shortish. Scholes. Oh, Ruud van Nistelrooy.
You look surprised. I'm amazed. He cannot believe he's missed that. This is bread and butter. This is Van Nistelrooy's area. Look at the way he just keeps himself on side. 6 yards out. He's tried to head it. Let it guide it off your head. No power needed. What? Swings ahead at it. Turns his head. Just trying to hit you. Stiff neck. Pick your spot.
Brown. Arsenal escape again.
You can't keep missing them. I don't care what anyone says. You cannot keep missing chances like that in a cup final.
Scholes to Giggs. It's a brilliant pass. Call for handball on Toure. Giggs rather played it against the Arsenal man. Certainly that's what Arsenal will think. Certainly that's what Rob Styles has indicated. But again, another ball that threatened to unhinge Arsenal. And there's been so little from them at the other end of the pitch. This time Scholes does lose the sense of radar.
Well, I think there's enough distance between Giggs and Kolo Toure here to give the referee a decision. But that's not a penalty. I think if it went straight to the arm that was out, then you'd have a real big decision to make. The fact that I think it comes off his thigh and then onto his arm. No way. Good decision again.
Well, here is a player who's leaving Highbury. Edu has decided to head elsewhere, probably to Valencia. And Robert Pires, scorer of an FA Cup final winning goal only 2 years ago, the last time Arsenal won it. He is replaced by the Brazilian.
Now that makes sense, because Manchester United have upped it again, and Pires is not the best defensively. How they've missed that boy. Pires is not the best defensively. Edu will do better in that job, and he'll still get forward. He'll still contribute in that part of the pitch.
Gilberto. Between them, Andy, these two clubs have scored 217 goals this season. It's certainly a lecture for Scholes.
It didn't seem much of a tackle, if I'm being honest. Just kind of shuffled into the back of him. I don't know whether it was caught in his calf, or looks like that's the area.
Well, I know there are 15 minutes to go, and it's a risky thing to say, but I would like to commend Rob Styles on the way he's refereed this FA Cup final.
I'll tell you what, though, you have to commend as well the players. They've made the job easy for them.
Sure.
They really have. They've been great. I think Manchester United have read and listened to all that's been said and written about them this week, particularly from Arsenal players, saying that if they play football they can't win. Well, that may still be the case, but for the best part of this match they played Arsenal off the pitch.
Well, they're representing themselves first and foremost, then their clubs, and then of course the good name of English football. But here we are, and 105 minutes gone, and Van Nistelrooy, a chance in extra time. His header late in 90 minutes, his effort that Ljungberg headed against the bar. So Alex Ferguson will feel that his team continues to be the more likely.
But the best team does not always win a cup tie or a cup final. And maybe Arsenal think they're owed one for that 2001 cup final against Liverpool. Maybe they just think they're owed one. Maybe it's the day.
So where's an Arsenal goal going to come from, though?
Where is a goal going to come from? Yeah. Who says it has to come from the game?
Oh, you mean he might on the penalty shootout?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think it's more likely to go Arsenal's way from that than what we've seen right from the off, really. As Arsene Wenger, is he complaining about some bad behaviour on the bench from their rivals?
They're all trying to get some bottles of liquid on. I just think that in a cup final like this, I don't see why you have to turn around straight away. I don't see why you just give them a couple of minutes just to throw a couple of bottles on, have a quick drink and then get set.
Here we go again. "15 minutes away from the first FA Cup ever to be decided on a penalty shootout." Gilberto.
You know, but hasn't this been very typical of Manchester United's season, Martin, in respect that another game where they really have dominated. They've created chances, an abundance of them, and yet it's still 0-0.
It's a misjudgment there by Toure. Giggs, and Nistelrooy trying to get there in the near post. He's missed it. It's another opportunity that's gone a-begging for Manchester United. And here's Reyes finding some space. Ljungberg tracks some defenders towards the centre, and there's room for Robin van Persie. Now Edu. Vieira. Toure. Senderos. And Vieira. Ljungberg trying from the left. Edu. And whip one in towards Robin van Persie. Was his only target, really.
Van Nistelrooy was an up-and-down season, but he's had two magnificent chances in extra time.
Van Persie. Sticking to the cause, no lack of concentration there from Ferdinand. And Keane and Ronaldo through the centre, and it's come off Senderos. Lehmann has read it very well against Ryan Giggs. Well, he's had a really great game, Jens Lehmann.
Yeah, I don't think Giggs did a lot there. He almost pulled out. I thought Ryan Giggs would go to ground and slide in and block tackle him, because it can go anywhere. And I think the only thing that happens here is after he kicks it, Lehmann, obviously he's going to crash into Giggs, but that's what happens.
That's a play on, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you're always going to get it because it's a goalkeeper. I think we have to say that. And if it was up the other end, I think the referee would have made the same decision.
Giggs looks up at the big scoreboards here. Arsenal 0, Manchester United 0. Their supporters are getting their second win as the players try and do the same. Reyes letting it run. Edu. Ferdinand wants this FA Cup winners' medal.
Well, I've not seen a poorer Arsenal performance in a cup final or a big match for a long time. I mean that. They got one on target, quadruple the attempts, 9 times the amount on target. It's a staggering statistic. Well, it doesn't matter to us. Sorry, Martin, it doesn't matter to Arsenal, because all they need, and I've said it, is a little chance, is one movement, is a bit of magic, and the guy will be chiseling Arsenal's name on that wonderful piece of silverware again.
Ljungberg, Vieira. Gilberto scored a couple of goals on this ground. The last Arsenal goal was here against Manchester United in the Community Shield. Ljungberg. Obviously disappointed at being omitted from the starting 11, but trying to play his part on time in the match that really matters. And Persie, Reyes, and Silvestri's across him. And Reyes has got to be careful here. He could be off, you know.
I'll tell you what, that's, I mean, all right, impetuosity of youth, I guess. But he's not playing the ball. I mean, people have made much of tackles. That's a horrible tackle. There's no intention of playing the ball there. The only intention was of playing the player.
Yeah. think he's going to be dealt with leniently by a referee who has really worked his way up the ladder with the letter of the law being applied.
Yeah, I think he does, rightly, he doesn't want to spoil the showpiece, but that was close. That was close.
Left, and then penalties in the Millennium Stadium. Toure. Ronaldo. Lehmann.
How could that have gone out? How could that have gone out? Did that not cross the front of the goal?
It did.
He's furious.
It went between the goal and Lehmann, who
we'll see,
come out too far.
How's that going out? I mean, do me a favour. How is that going out?
Well, it hasn't. Nobody needs to do you a favour.
But he's nearly scored.
I was wondering if it was going in between Lehmann and his near post.
Can you imagine if a goalkeeper had tried to save that and just got fingertips on him?
Brown. Ferdinand. It's been the long haul here. A season that started with these two clubs clashing in the Community Shield on this ground. It seems a long time ago. It seems a long time ago that we kicked off here in the FA Cup final. Edu. Reyes. Such has been the rivalry here. Arsenal have never overcommitted. And here's a chance to get someone into the penalty area. Edu's in there, Ljungberg's in there. Blocked by Keane. He's trying to prevent a corner and has done so.
He did well, Roy Keane.
For all they put into this game, the attacking force has been almost exclusively with Manchester United. Here come Arsenal. Still in it. Edu. Vieira. Edu. And Cole. Scholes. Well, his first offence, and for persistent infringement, he gets a yellow card.
Well, there's a couple of Manchester United players around him. You understand why. But there's nothing the referee can do about Paul Scholes. It's not that tackle, as you said quite rightly. It's a combination of 4 or 5 that he's got away with.
Well, we might have had penalties in 1993 in the replay between Arsenal and Sheffield Wednesday, and a fella called Andy Linnigan scored right at the end. I suppose his equivalent in this team is Philippe Senderos. And Percy takes it. It's just scrambled away from Edu by Keane.
That arrived at him very quickly, Roy Keane, and he somehow sorted his feet out.
This is Van Persie. Keane is there to break up the play again. Van Persie wants it back again. Brown's back pass. Sylvestre, and on to Fortune. They're working their way out well here, Manchester United. And Ljungberg goes down, claiming that he's been elbowed in the face, and this could be the first really explosive moment of the FA Cup final.
Well, he's given the free kick against Fortune, but it's a Ljungberg and Quinton Fortune coming together. It's attracted all the attention in the game that's really had nothing. As they come together here to just put... It's not an elbow. Do me a favour. You see that time and time again. People put their arm across people. That's as bad what Gilberto's just done to fortune.
It's almost as if, for the most part here, the damp weather has dampened down the potential for over-exuberance. Arsene Wenger taking the opportunity with Rob Stiles close to him to make a point to the referee.
Sometimes West Arsenal just get on with it. You know, I think too much can be said about certain things. Every single tackle you can't complain and moan about.
And it was the follow-up by Fortune, wasn't it, that the free kick's been given for?
Yeah, but I don't think that's what's annoying them all. Quentin Fortune, you won't want to get Arsenal players riled up in any way because they've been flat at times.
Gilberto.
You need some inspiration from somewhere, and it might be something like that that gives them a little shot now, a little boost.
And Arsenal so buoyant, particularly in those home wins recently against the two clubs from Merseyside. But this has almost looked at a game too far for them this season, and yet they could still regain the FA Cup. Seen as a foul by Rooney. It would have been a corner in any case. Extra intensity now.
6-1 again. Some you get, some you don't. Arsenal have. You talked about not looking likely for an Arsenal goal, but you don't need to be playing well to score from a set play.
Could this be the moment when Arsenal overturn all the odds that have looked against them in this game? Van Persie, Manchester United lining up. Ljungberg lines it up, but maybe distracted by a player coming out at him. I think Wes Brown got closest.
Wes Brown and Vieira were having a right good ding-dong in there. It was great. Vieira's trying to get some space, and Brown's right in his face, trying to battle with him. But, you know, you've seen Ljungberg do better. I just think sometimes when it comes down, there are so many players in your way. It's just a wild thrash at the end.
Vieira's header off the back of Giggs' head. Van Persie, who is the son of an artist, incidentally, with some artistic footwork there in the football sense. Tim Howard is doing some limbering up.
Don't tell me you wouldn't change a goalie for penalties, are you?
It was Howard, of course, who came out on top against Arsenal in the Community Shield shootout. Ronaldo, we might not need penalties. Oh, there's a trip there by Vieira. That'll be a card. Fortunately for him, it's his first of the afternoon. And the capacity to win it by orthodox methods is still there in extra time, but there's only a couple of minutes to go. And in terms of chances created, Manchester United do deserve to win this FA Cup final.
Since when was football ever fair?
Especially in the FA Cup.
Since when was it ever fair?
Giggs. Ross did very well.
He didn't have. Oh, break on here. Break on if he can spread it other side.
Reyes, Edu, Scholes into the back of Reyes. No foul, otherwise Scholes could have been in hot water. Now Rooney and Vieira and Rob Stiles in trying to keep 11 against 11, and I think that is a decent attitude. Just giving one or two players a little bit of an extra license. But anyway, we're nearly to the penalties when being a man short doesn't really enter the equation. It's a free kick to Manchester United. They've been front foot forward for most of the 2 hours of football here. They haven't got a goal to show for it.
Well, if they get one now, there's no way back, is there? No way back. something they didn't possess. It's
and
quite
fortune as well, but he's moved away.
It's quite a way out. And you have to be special to beat a goalkeeper who's in top form.
Well, the 2 hours are up. And Paul Scholes strikes it. Youngberg seems to have turned his back, but will still be 2 added minutes. And Ronaldo's feet are still twinkling. Association making the choice here. Sylvestre.
That's a poor goal. One of his first today.
That's a fine tackle on Scholes, but the whistle has gone. Is that for a free kick to Arsenal?
Yes, it is. Pull back in the shot. And again, there's 1 or 2 that Scholes and Vieira treading on thin ice, but I don't see any. I need to do something really, really wrong now. The referee, who's, I have to be honest, never been one of my favourites, but I think he's done a good job today, a really good job. An awful lot said about him this week, of course.
Couldn't agree with you more. Van Persie. Oh, he's given it to the newly announced man of the match, Wayne Rooney. Well, he's almost certain to have a penalty to take. And here come Arsenal. Haven't said that very often today. Gilberto, but Fortune gets it and realised that he could give it to Ronaldo and bomb on himself down the left-hand side.
Oh, that's a bad tackle. That's Reyes again. He stuck his arm, much like... Oh, he's sending him off, is he? He's going.
Reyes is off. Only the second player in the entire history of finals of this competition to go. He follows Kevin Moran from 20 years ago. And it was coming really for somebody, as you suggested, and it's Jose Antonio Reyes.
You see, he's had a huge big word with him with that, was it the tackle on Sylvestre away in the corner, when he quite clearly, with no intention of playing the ball. Rob Stiles might easily have sent him off then. But again, it's that Ronaldo, he was away, he shoved the arm across his face. The referee deemed it a bookable offence, and it's hard to find an argument that says he was wrong, the referee.
Well, that's a second for the FA Cup. This is a first, a piece of history, a penalty shootout. It had to happen, I guess, once they decided that replays would be redundant. And Arsene Wenger, whose approach has shaped much of this match, really.
You see where the referee was, and he sees the arm go across, much like it was a Quentin Fortune and all that. It's a thing that they do, but only normally when you do it, you get the ball. And I think what he's judged is he was coming in without the ball. He stopped Ronaldo making that run through. And that's what I said earlier about Vieira's challenge on him, or through in the far side when he's holding back. That was borderline bookable offence.
Well, let's hear from Richard and the guys in the studio.
Teddy Sheringham, now Quinn, Ted, you've been involved in an FA Cup shootout this season. Stakes plainly were not as high as this, but...
So there you go, they're the stats from the match right through to the end of the extra time period. There's the big difference, 23 attempts at goal by Man United, Fozzie, and only 5 by Arsenal. Yeah. Pretty well tells the story, but they're still in it.
Oh, it's been the most one-sided FA Cup final I've seen probably in my time. One team, Arsenal, who's a super football team, who just haven't been at the races, had their worst day, and a fantastic Man United side who've had probably their best, yes, but some of the football they've played has just been, it's been beautiful to watch.
It's been outstanding, I think, yeah, and it's just one of those things that if you can score a goal off it, you can win the game, and now we're down to, I don't think anybody would like it to finish with penalties, but that's what it comes down to now.
I mean, this question comes up every time there's a shootout, yes, but we're going to ask it anyway. I mean, what's your view on that? I personally still don't believe it's the right solution.
I don't either, but I don't know what do you do to change it. I suppose you can't keep on playing. You have to have some kind of finish to a game, and the players don't want it either. That's the thing. That somebody's going to be, you know, the villain of this somehow, and it's just one of those things. It's an awful way to finish a game.
Yeah, it's tough on the players. If you think about the World Cups, of course, you You took one in the '86 World Cup, Jesper, and scored. But you know, you think particularly about England, the guys like Stuart Pearce and I think it was Batty. These types of guys who miss the big penalties. You know, it's never ever forgotten by the fans. But I've got to say, I actually liked them because I think that it's probably the best test of nerve in any sport in the world. When there's tired legs, you've got to step up and hold your nerve and do what's relatively simple, but under the pressure and everything. I just think it's a great spectacle, one of the greatest spectacles in sport.
But that's why a lot of players don't take them, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
The men are separated from the boys when it comes to those penalties.
Yeah.
That's the difference, isn't it, Jesper?
I think it is. I think it's a lot of times also the older players, and obviously somebody like Wayne Rooney would take one today because he's got so much confidence as well. But it just falls sometimes to the wrong player that has to take that last penalty, and that is, I think, the hard thing when it gets to somebody that's not used to it.
Well, that's right. Actually, when you get to 6, 7, 8 penalties, and you start getting guys who never, never taken one, and they've got to step up, and
the other interesting thing is that a lot of people form the misconception that the pressure is with the shootouts is on the goalkeepers, whereas it's not at all. The goalkeepers, you know, I mean, they will never get blamed for a goal being scored in a shootout, will they?
Absolutely.
The pressure's on the kickers.
Oh, definitely, and the goalkeepers normally end up the heroes as well, because if they save one, sometimes that is the end of the shootout. So, but it will be interesting this one to see, because a lot of the people that will take them today, they're used to the pressure, obviously playing for both such big clubs. So it'll be a very interesting shootout.
And of course the keepers. I mean, Roy Carroll's had very little to do all game, but this guy Lehmann, he's had his best game I've ever seen in an Arsenal shirt. The team's been very ordinary.
We bagged the goalkeepers, didn't we, before the game? They've risen to the occasion.
Well, credit to him. But he's quality. I mean, he has been the backup keeper to Kahn for Germany and everything else, and he's talked about as possible #1 keeper there. So, I mean, the guy's quality. It's just that he's got a mistake in the locker or two, right?
Sure.
So, I mean, it can happen to everyone. But as I said before, Howard and Lehmann, when they've come up with a mistake, it's been in big games. Not today. He saved his team. He's the one who's kept them in this match.
Definitely.
So I wouldn't be surprised if he's now the hero, as you said.
Yeah.
Okay, Man United to take the first one, and it will be Ruud van Nistelrooy. See if he's any luckier than he has been throughout the game. Let's go back to Martin Tyler and Andy Gray.
Rival of Arsenal, Ruud van Nistelrooy, is the first man up. Rob Stars is just giving the goalkeepers, I would think, a strong indication of what he expects in terms of staying on the line. It's always an issue in these shootouts.
Yeah, that would be exactly it, I think. The linesman will have been told. And I'm not talking about a foot off the line now, half a step. I think if they come out a couple of yards, then they'll find that it'll be retaken.
Lehmann saved the Van Nistelrooy penalty on this very ground in this very goal in the Community Shield shootout less than 2 years ago. Van Nistelrooy, of course, has had successes since then, and he has a success here. And it's 1-0 in the shootout to Manchester United.
I'll tell you what, nerves of steel these boys are going to have now. Great penalty. I mean, his concentration there as he was stood waiting to take it was just unbelievable. And as Teddy Sheringham said, pick your spot, and the one thing you mustn't do is not hit it powerfully. Surprise #1 for you?
Not at all.
No?
No, he was first up at Bramall Lane, and he's taken penalties galore in shootouts in international competition for Cameroon. And he scored 2 out of 2, both against Spurs, incidentally, in the Premiership. And that's the way he does it.
Good boys. Well, the one Manchester United player that's going to miss out, should it go that far, will be Wes Brown. He's been sacrificed, he'll be on the bench. I think that would have been me shouting to go and go there. That would have been playing. It's a great penalty. Follow those 2 boys, I would think I would be saying.
And Lawrence, one of those who waits for the goalkeeper to commit. He's somehow got that inner belief. So Paul Scholes, who's been through so much with Manchester United, so much success. He takes the second. Oh, and Lehmann has done it. A splendid save.
Well, you
just get that feeling. Made so many big saves in the game, kept his side in it. Guess he's right, it's not right in the corner, it's at a good height. And someone who has scored so many hugely important goals for Manchester United comes up short.
Just gave him that side, didn't he? Just favoured the other way, went towards the other post and said, put it there. Scholes obliged. Freddie Ljungberg to put Arsenal in front, which he does with those nerves of steel.
This is a different one. Again, he waits, and he just thinks it straight down the middle. It doesn't matter. There's no such thing as a bad penalty when you score, I'll tell you. No such thing. Scholes has struck his more firmly. No luck. Big, big one, this. Big one.
For a very young man in the game, Cristiano Ronaldo. A shimmy, a shake, and a goal. 2-2.
Different. Each has his own way and his own belief in what to do. I think the key in modern day football is always try and get the goalkeeper going the wrong way, don't you think? You know, invariably if they go the right way, they come very close, unless it's high, to saving it.
Robin van Persie made his Arsenal debut here against Manchester United in the Community Shield. It's his first season in English football, and now he has to end it in this dramatic set of circumstances, but he scores. And Arsenal still lead, 3-2.
Now that's the one I talked about. If the keeper goes the right way and it's high enough, they very, very rarely get up to get there. It's beautifully struck, firm, high. Goalkeeper's dive, it always goes low. The difference, Scholes and Van Persie, he got the height, Paul Scholes didn't.
Wayne Rooney.
We talk about Wayne Rooney, man of the match announced, and I thought, oh no, not before penalties.
Well, he did waste a penalty in a Premiership game against Crystal Palace. It didn't cost Manchester United at Old Trafford. And he's hammered it in. It was almost as if Lane said, I'll flinch out of the way.
Well, I've seen some great penalties, and I take my hat off to them. Full marks to the players. I think the Lehman goes the right way, gets nowhere near it either. Full marks, held on nerve. People say you can't practice them, but you can, trust me.
Ashley Cole scored at Sheffield United, also scored in England's shootout in Euro 2004, but was a loser then. What he did do is, on both occasions, rolled it to the goalkeeper's right. But he's placed it to the goalkeeper's right this time, and Arsenal are getting ever closer.
No, he's got nowhere near any of them, has he? Nowhere near any of them. Another great penalty.
And Roy Keane is coming up, Andy.
I just wonder, will it be Patrick Vieira? Well, Arsenal's last one.
Every chance.
The two big boys. Keane shot off the line by Vieira. The battles I've had over the years. It comes down to this.
In his 7th FA Cup final. Here goes Roy Keane, and he keeps Manchester United alive.
And here comes Vieira.
Any trace of nerves. Patrick Vieira also scored at Bramall Lane and also took a penalty in the competition to get Arsenal to the final. He scored against Wolverhampton Wanderers in round 4. If he scores here, he goes up to get the FA Cup, but it sounds simple, it certainly isn't. Roy Carroll, who hasn't got a contract for Manchester United for next season. This could be his very last involvement with the club. Here goes the Arsenal skipper, and there goes the cup. Back to Highbury. They've whisked it away from Manchester United and left them empty-handed from this campaign. Extraordinary. On the receiving end for much of the match. And now this.
Well, I told you football's never fair. But who, do you think they care? And why should they?
Faultless in the shootout, 5 out of 5 at the Manchester United end.
Well, I bet he can't believe it, but it's not a place for losers, it's a place for winners, and he has another trophy to put in the cabinet, to put on his CV. Most unlikely of wins, but I said earlier, maybe they thought they were owed one after the Liverpool game here 3 or 4 years ago. Well, they owed their luck, and they owed their goalkeeper. They owed their goalkeeper big time, and that's why, as soon as Vieira put it in, off they went to Lehmann. They know he's the man that kept him in the game.
3 wins from 4 finals in South Wales. Arsenal undoubtedly the kings of Cardiff. A 10th triumph, just 1 behind their victims today now. A 4th for Arsene Wenger, only 1 behind Sir Alec again now. And a hat-trick of winners' medals for several of the players. Captain, beaten manager. They hate to lose. And let's get some reaction from down at pitch level.
Patrick, how's it feel to score the winning penalty in the first ever shootout in a cup final?
I think we did fantastically, really well. During the game, it was really difficult to have to give them a credit because we didn't create so many chances during the game. More credit to them, but I think we showed a fantastic spirit. It was really difficult for us, but we fight until the end, and we make it and we win it like that. It's fantastic for us.
How did you feel when you walked up to take that penalty?
I was strong on my mind. We practiced it a little bit, so today is a fantastic day for us.
That's a hat-trick of trophies at the stadium. You must love it here.
Yeah, it's fantastic for us.
Go on, celebrate.
Well, he said stay strong. Tears of defeat for Rio Ferdinand and company. More reaction down below with Jeff Shreves and our team of reporters.
Gilberto won and you won the FA Cup, but was it going to plan?
No, just rest, and celebrate with our fans. And congratulate for the team, we did very well today. And the game was fantastic, congratulations to Manu because they play really well also, too. But Arsenal today show how strong we are. Well done.
How concerned were you? Manchester United were dominating the game for 2 hours.
Oh, had good moments in the game, but they got the ball most of the time. But we were strong to defend, and difficult their job. And now we are champion. It's happening in football. And not every time who has got the time more, win the game. We showed that today.
Go and have your champagne.
Yeah.
Ashley, how does that feel? You must love this game. That's a hat-trick now.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I think we deserved it. We battled hard and maybe didn't have the chances, but again, as I said, battled hard and we got just a reward.
How much do you owe to your goalkeeper?
Again, he's been magnificent today. There was a lot of criticism, but we were always behind him and knew how good he was, and today he's proved it.
How difficult was it for you? Booked early on and up against Wayne Rooney. Was it a tricky game?
Yeah, I think I didn't mean to tackle him like that, but it was a little bit too quick for me, and I knew I couldn't go into any more tackles, and I thought I'd done all right.
Having won nothing this season, how much pressure was there going into this?
Yeah, I think there was a lot. I think whoever would have lost it would have been a disappointing season, so we're just happy that we won it.
Well done, Ashley.
Well, that might encourage Ashley Cole to pledge his future to Arsenal. They've had some difficulties going into this game, and some of the stories that's been coming out of their camp. Robert Pires apparently unhappy as well, but he's got another winner's medal. For Manchester United, Andy, they've not been able to deliver the new owners their first piece of silverware. It's a blow to the United brand, as the marketing men call it.
Yeah, it will be a huge blow. But there's life in the team. I think we saw that today. This is hard to take. I think when you play in finals and you play poorly and you get beaten, then It's not easy to accept, but it's easier. You know, I was surprised to hear Ashley Cole say he thought they deserved it. I thought they got battered really at times. And they were lucky in a lot of occasions where the keeper made great saves. People will tell you that's what he's there for. But, you know, Ruud van Nistelrooy, 2 chances that he would normally gobble up. I think they rode the luck, but they held their nerve with penalties, absolutely.
No more so than Patrick Vieira, who, of course, missed out when the cup was last held up by Arsenal. He joined in at the end, but he didn't play in the game. David Seaman did the honours. Freddie Ljungberg has the champagne. And let's hear from Jens Lehmann, who's certainly been an Arsenal hero today.
Jens, you had some disappointing moments this season. Does that make up for it?
Sorry, what did you ask me?
You had some disappointing moments this season. Does this more than make up for it?
Well, I think I had disappointment moments in every season of my life. And when I came back in the team, I looked at our table, I looked at the Champions League, and I looked at the FA Cup. And at least I said to myself, at least I have to win the FA Cup, because I'm a little bit old, was 35 now. I run out of time, so I had to win it.
Was that the dream you clung on to then when you were out of the team?
One of the dreams, yeah.
The penalty save from Paul Scholes, did you guess? Did you read it? How did you do it?
Well, I guess, yeah. And I think it's penalty shootout is quite tactically, so I had to go there.
Is it all about a battle of the minds between the goalkeeper and the taker?
I think so, yeah.
And how proud are you that you've saved a penalty in the first ever penalty shootout in an FA Cup final? Words fail you, I understand.
I didn't consider it, but well, it's a good feeling, and the most important thing is that we have won it. It sums up the season, and that's very good for us. So we have won the title last year, we have won the title this year, and we can go on like this in the next season.
Well done, go and get the trophy.
Thank you.
Yes, Jens Lehmann, who lost his place to Almunia and said he came back fresher. He adjusted his training. He certainly kept going very well since then. Thierry Henry amongst the Arsenal fans here, who for a couple of hours must have wondered whether these scenes would materialise, because Manchester United... Andy, are we going to call this a triumph for Arsene Wenger's tactics?
Oh, that's a tough one. I don't think he got it right.
A justification.
A justification, yeah. Yeah, the ends justifies the means, I guess. People will look at it and say, but no, I think this is one of the poorest Arsenal performances I've seen. And I think, you know, that had a lot to do with A, how Manchester United played, and B, because Arsenal didn't do the things that have gotten them all the trophies, all the plaudits for their silky attack in football. It never happened. I'm just thinking of one question, I don't know, you might be able to answer it. Reyes, I know in '85 Kevin Moran didn't get allowed to get his medal.
No, that should be the case here today.
So Reyes won't get presented with his medal, that's what you're thinking?
It's up to the FA committee at the end to decide whether he's worthy of having one, but he's not allowed. That's, as I understand it, by the protocol of the event, and I think that should be the case, really. But we'll see.
We'll see.
Manchester United go up. We've seen enough from the old order in their team to understand that they'll want to have another go at it. But the new order played very well. Rooney and Ronaldo can leave this final with their heads held high. Rio Ferdinand, of course, will be a bastion of the defence for many years to come, so he says. Rob Styles has finished his, well, an ordeal, some would say, but I'm sure for him the culmination of all the work that's gone into getting to be asked to take charge. He was telling me before the game, Andy, he's looked at the names of all the other referees in the FA Cup finals on the list and the books that keep such things, and he says, I'll be there next year, you know, and you can imagine you're there as an FA Cup winner, even 21 years on. You must be thrilled to have your name in the Roll of Honour.
Huge highlight.
Yeah.
And it should be. Looking forward to hearing Sir Alex Ferguson interviewed after the game. I'm looking forward to hearing both managers, both thoughts and how they felt it went.
Well, Arsenal won't want to see the back of the Millennium Stadium. It's been a great ground for them. 3 FA Cup wins here, and in their one failure they really should have put Liverpool out of range.
Well, is Reyes there? Can I see him just at the back there? Sol Campbell coming up. I'm not sure, I think. Is that?
was that Fabregas? I'm not quite sure.
Fabregas has gone through. He's got his medal. Gilberto after Colo Touré. Edu, it's a happy farewell to Highbury for him. One more year to go at Highbury, of course. Dennis Bergkamp hopes he's back for that season.
Reyes gets his. And he goes through shot.
There you are.
How are the people on the podium going to know who's supposed to get a medal and who's not in that situation?
Prince Michael of Kent doing the honours of Royal Field. A less than Royal Arsenal performance, but a winning performance. And against their arch rivals, Arsenal had the last laugh for this season at least. The FA Cup goes back to Highbury, and at a time when earlier trophy had just fetched £500,000 at auction, this is one you just cannot put a price on. Enormous value at the time when Arsenal, you feel, needed a sense of well-being. It was a great day to be a winner. It's a tough one to be a loser, particularly as you played as Manchester United had. But it's been decided on penalties Arsenal's way after a 0-0 at Cardiff. Richard.
Well, there we go. Arsenal, the winners of a most unusual but a thrilling cup final. A quick word from Craig Foster and Jesper Olsen. Craig, it was a thrilling game. Penalty shootout. We know what happens in those. You can't work them out. But a happy camp and a very sad day for Man U.
Well, if we hadn't had about 35 cups of coffee, you'd think you're dreaming seeing Arsenal holding the cup after that match. As Andy Gray said, they got absolutely battered. But, you know, credit to them. You know, as we often say, that's football. It can be cruel. But they held out. The keeper was brilliant. And just when you needed him, he pulled out the saves that was needed. They had 2 come off the post. They rode their luck, and then they stepped up and hit 5 of the best penalties you're ever likely to see. 4 for Man United were brilliant, and unfortunately for Paul Scholes, it's the worst penalty he's probably ever hit, Jesper.
Yeah, it was terrific. 9 penalties out of 10. Jesper?
Absolutely. I mean, it's one of those things. United didn't score in the normal play, and the penalties from Arsenal were just fantastic. You can't argue with it, and at the end, that they were on the podium as winners is, you know, a bit of a strange feeling, I suppose, after seeing the game.
What would Sir Alex be like now?
He would be very disappointed, definitely. No trophy this season.
Yeah. All right, Jesper, thank you. We're going to go to a break here at the end of the Cup final as we continue the analysis and the summing up. And after the break, we'll go to Damien and see what the fans thought. Back in a moment.